Where Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
Let's get crunk. It's Thirsty Thursday here in the Hassle Castle. Brought to you by Done Right Satellite and Dish. This is Don't Hassle So Local on Espn AM 1170. I got the somebody in here for the Stat Cat, my very favorite, Nicholas J. Taffanelli.
Happy Halloween, everyone!
Yeah. I
Happy
came dressed
Halloween.
as myself today.
Well,
Jay,
apparently it came...
he's a paparazzi.
Oh, by the way, the other day I picked my son up from school, and a kid came out.
This is all a lie.
No, kid came out, and he said, "Ben, is that your dad?" And, no, first he said, "Ben, are you a Cubs fan?" And Ben said, "Yes." And he said, "Is that your dad?" And he said, "Yes." He goes, "He looks like David Ross." And I was like, "All right, see, he gets it.
You're
He gets it."
Is it because you're aging?
Yeah,
You're the gray hairs
it's
now?
the gray in the beard is what it is. I mean, it's not like I'm going for it. I don't care.
It's because people have seen him dance. He's very much a star from Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the QC Stars. Jay could win that.
Next year.
No, I'm not going to win that. So, you know.
Well, anyway, we got Adam here from...
David Ross.
Do we need that right
Get
now?
it? No, you don't need that.
Get it? What do
I
you
mean,
mean?
I'm a Cub fan right now, and I don't like that song.
At least play Nuts About the Gnats.
Is that a
Yeah.
song?
You don't know this song?
No, I'll find it though. I'll get it on YouTube.
It's worse than anything
Okay.
you could imagine.
I'll pull it up. Anyway, go on.
Well, anyway, we got Adam here from Front Street Brewery. He brought some beer for us to sample, I'm sure. But the
Yeah.
problem is why it's such a Thirsty Thursday.
It's an
We're
IPA.
also promoting our friends from Rudy's Tacos in the Village,
I have an
and we're drinking margaritas already.
I'm drinking the IPA from Front Street.
I walk into the studio 10 minutes ago, and I get 3 drinks handed to me.
Welcome to work.
I mean, I'm not complaining. It took me like 15 minutes to get out of my driveway because I had to shovel out because it's Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it snow?
Ugh.
I wanted to go as Elsa, so it's perfect for me.
This
Let
video.
it go,
This
let
video
it
is from
go.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, we'll play it later. Definitely. I'm all good about that. Adam's in on Thursday. Usually on Fridays we have Front Street Brewery, but Adam's in today because you guys are going to a conference, right?
Yeah, big Iowa Brewers Guild educational conference. We're gonna
So you guys just sit
learn
around
to
and
be
drink.
better beer guys. Yeah,
Iowa.
Does anybody bring like pot?
Hold
or-
on, I like doing this stuff.
in the
Iowa.
craft beer industry.
Iowa Brewers Educational
Never.
Seminar and Training. Is that what IBEST stands for?
I don't know what the actual acronym
Pretty
is.
sure that's it.
You probably
That's pretty
nailed
good.
it. I think you probably nailed it.
You guys love acronyms. the Brewers do. All right, what did you bring in for us?
So this is our new rotating IPA. We're just tapping it this afternoon. It's called
want a little
Desperado IPA.
Give
Brewed
me a little
with
bit. Give me a little bit though. Just
brewed
a
with
little smidge,
lemon
maybe.
drop,
you seen
Denali, and white tea hops.
It's a fancy glass, Nick. I'm sorry, you can't call it a glass because it's not a glass; it's a cup.
It's silly. It's a silly pint. You can run over it with your car. You can heat up to like 400 degrees if you want to. Look at this thing.
Microwave it.
delicious.
Microwave it. Yeah.
It's silly.
Why don't you stick to your senses?
Anyway. So you guys are tapping this today or tomorrow in the tap room?
This is tap today. We'll do
Okay.
a firkin tomorrow. We're gonna do a peanut butter cup porter tomorrow.
Ooh.
Kind of our leftover Halloween candy firkin.
That's interesting.
Did you see that in the old the Craphead Hassler thing with the candies?
What was the
I think
outcome?
I think it's Snickers versus peanut butter cups.
Ooh.
A lot of controversy.
Although Snickers originally had a tie with Kit Kat, and then they came back and voted again, and not everybody voted again. I still think Kit Kat's better than Snickers, but that's all right.
I'm staying out of this.
You are?
Yeah, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I don't eat candy. So I mean, I guess it would be Reese's Pieces if I ate anything, but then it would make me sick after about 2 handfuls.
Reese's Pieces would be your number one candy?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here right
I
now.
guess a peanut butter cup too. I like the peanut butter part of
What
it.
about you, Nick?
I mean, Snickers is the clear 1-1.
Really?
Yes, this is without question.
I would
Too
say
rich for
I
my
would
blood.
say it's probably peanut butter cups for me. Kit Kat, Snickers is up there, but I like
that.
I like
That should be
Nestle
the number one
Crunch.
seed without question.
It was
Yeah.
a 1 seed.
I think the peanut butter cup wins.
It's 2 1 seeds
Hmm.
going against each other. I think.
Well, we got other things to talk about. I mean, we will come back to talking about Front Street, but he's in here to talk to us. The Nationals are your world champions. Game 7's over. In case you didn't know it, the road team won every single game for the first time in history.
They've only been talking about it for 4 weeks.
Okay. We also got to talk. Steph Curry broke his hand, and there's tweet in the NBA. There's a possibility that DraftKings is in advanced talks to sell.
Is the brother-in-law still drunk? By the way,
I hope so.
I do too.
Hope he's doing it right.
I hope he's really getting after it. Hope he grabbed your sister, kissed her, and said, "That's it. I'll see you tomorrow."
If not, we start.
See you tomorrow night.
If not, we'll be doing the drinking for him. All right. So last night the Nationals won 6-2. Howie Kendrick and Anthony Rendon homered in the 7th inning as the Nationals overcame a 2-run deficit. Zach Greinke, what was he at? 80 pitches when he got pulled.
83 pitches.
83 pitches.
He gave up a homer, and then they pulled him.
Yeah.
Greinke was so good.
So good.
I mean, people are killing Hinch for this today. I don't know how you can.
I think his quote is right. This is from AJ Hinch. This is about the Nationals. This isn't about not performing at home or anything that we didn't do. He said, I come away incredibly impressed by the team that we played and got beat by. And you have to.
Well, listen, I mean, you had, and I saw a lot of people on the Twitter, like, Easer A's were saying, you can't pull this guy in the 7th. All right. He didn't. He gave up a home run, and then they came and pulled him. Listen, you don't think your relievers are going to give up them kind of runs, but what's his face? Smoltz was saying to pull him before the 7th anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were hoping to get like 5 or 6 out of Greinke, and you got more than that.
Yeah, you got
He's
a
going
full
around
6.
the lineup the 3rd time.
That's it.
Yeah.
They did mention that too. He's going in for the 3rd time. Let's see.
I mean, I'm just saying, how do you argue with a guy like Smoltz who's been doing it and through it and all that? I'm sorry. I think he was right. I don't know if they pull him if the outcome's different. Maybe that first home run doesn't happen.
Well, if you're Hinch, it's all it's lose, right? If you leave him
Yeah.
in and he gets dinged up, it's your fault for leaving him in. If you take him out,
well,
the
you
next
take him
time
out with a hot hand, yeah.
Basically, the only way Hinch doesn't get blamed for that is if it goes right.
Yep.
I don't know. And I think what Hinch said is perfect. It's not about what we didn't do. It's about the Nationals. The Nationals were gritty, man.
There is no way that 2-run deficit that he was going to be right. I'm sorry. I even said before it happened, and it's one of those things. I said if they get a runner on, this is going to be a tie ball game. That's when I went to Twitter and said this thing's going to extras. Book it.
Yeah.
That was before the home run.
Right.
Then the home run happened. Wife put the kids to bed, came back down, and she said, "What's going on now?" I said, "Nationals took the lead." She goes, "Oh, I thought you said it was going to be tied." I said, "Well, sorry that I was off a little bit, but about this team on May 28th, the Nationals less than a 0.1% chance to win the World Series. In the playoffs, they won 5 elimination games. In the World Series, they won 4 road games. Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, the World Series MVP, started 10 games this postseason. Washington won all of them.
Yeah.
And Strasburg was 5-0
Yes.
throughout the playoffs.
First one in history, yep.
Yeah.
To do that throughout the playoffs. Anthony Rendon.
Did they announce the MVP?
Yeah, it was him.
Strasburg?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
And
Yep.
and we were talking about it with Bob yesterday, and it's we kind of just said it's not a body of work thing. He was just that dominant. I know I Twitter too. The Anthony Rendon, his at bats in the entire postseason after the 7th inning is insane. Doubles, walks,
It was
home runs.
walk, double home run.
For me,
double,
it was
double home run,
Strasburg, and
double
if not
home
him, it had to have been Rendon. And then
Yeah.
if the Astros had won, I thought Springer would have been the one to get it.
Well, there were like 4 guys who had a legitimate
Yeah.
shot at it. But again, like nobody, that was just a team win. There's no one who's like much. Like Strasburg was great. You can make the argument for Rendon.
Yeah.
You can make the argument for Soto. You make the argument for Adam Eaton.
Eaton had a great series too. I mean, they played well, man. Really, the whole team. I thought Zimmerman played
Unbelievable.
well. Yeah.
They beat
Defensively, they were solid.
They beat 4 teams in the playoffs that were better than them,
Yeah, technically.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hell of a run for the Nationals.
No, I'm happy for him. I
Howie
think
Kendrick.
and they even get through the controversy of. I mean, I don't know
What controversy?
with the ball hitting Eaton. Was it Eaton or was it Turner in the back? Turner.
Yeah.
Well,
They got through that controversy like 2 pitches later.
Right.
Like it wasn't.
Which I mean, to this, dude.
We
that-
talked it out yesterday. They made the right call.
it's a matter of karma, doing the right thing. Okay?
Yeah.
You've got the Taubman curse
Sure.
going around saying, I'm so glad we signed him, so glad we
Sure.
signed him. Kind of everything was spun around, went downhill after that, right? Then you've got this letter that was printed in the Washington Post
Yeah.
section. All right. Oh, that was, but I take that back. But there was a letter to Nats fans just saying about how good they were from the Astros. And it was an Astros fan about treating people right. He's been in plenty of places all over. He said it was never more than a, go Astros, back to him wearing go Nationals to his Astros gear. He said his experience there was amazing. And, the Nationals fans just treating people right. And the Nationals themselves. So it's a true karma type of situation. The Nationals, although you wouldn't believe this, they're the oldest team in major leagues. By average.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant the oldest
No,
franchise.
no,
I was
no,
like,
no,
no.
that's
Now
not
you're
true.
way up.
Yeah, but the oldest team, obviously, because you have your Scherzers and
Yeah.
your Zimmerman, who, the first draft pick in team history. Strasburg becomes the first number 1 overall to win a World Series MVP.
Nice.
Rendon can be a free agent after the year. I know we're starting this early, but who doesn't? Rendon can become a free agent. Strasburg can opt out.
Both those guys.
Zimmerman can probably retire. Not that in a bad way. I don't mean to say like he can go kick rocks, but
No, he did what he came to do, right? Great ending for Zimmerman. Nationals have to re-sign Rendon and Strasburg. Now you're basically locked in.
I heard the Cubs are getting them all.
Cubs are getting Garrett Cole.
Oh, is that just you just throwing that out there, or
What's
you
happening?
think that's going to happen?
I think it needs to happen if we're gonna have a chance next year.
I think he's probably going to go to Los Angeles, the
wouldn't shock me.
Anaheim Angels. Okay. So early lines coming up, and again, the odds from the Westgate. Houston's 5-1, Dodgers are 6-1, Atlanta 10-1, Boston 12-1. Just going down the list, the Cubs are 20-1 to win the World Series next year, along with
So
Philadelphia.
what happen when we get Garrett Cole, though?
That's right; it'll change completely. You're
Yeah.
right. So you got to get in now.
We're getting Cole and Strasburg.
Yeah, that's what
It's gonna be good.
You heard it here first.
And Aroldis Chapman's going to be back in the bullpen.
No, you
No?
don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that.
And we're getting Ozuna. We're gonna be excited about it.
Yep.
No.
we already
No.
got Addison Russell. We're just going to get all the women beaters, and we're just going to be the women beater team.
Hey,
No.
No, we don't want to do that.
we're gonna
No, we
sign
do
that
not.
guy.
Maybe
do
that's
that.
bad
We're
karma.
gonna sign
Yeah.
that guy from the Astros front office.
Yep,
he's
totally
gonna do,
signing him.
He's gonna do the press conferences.
The only
Yeah,
thing this
in
game,
charge of PR.
the game just lacked anything super duper crazy.
It went kind of fast, right? Like the first couple innings is what for sure, but and then the lead change happened so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the
It
Nats
was,
was dead.
it was bam, bam.
You went down early. They got Scherzer was getting hit around everywhere. Every inning, there's guys on base. Everything
Yeah.
that was hit off him was
Yeah.
a line drive. You're like, there's no chance. The Nationals somehow they stayed in it. They only were down 2-0.
And he was throwing sick pitches. They were just, the Astros were touching him. They were getting him. They left, 9 on base before, as they went into the inning, as they went into the 7th, as I looked at it, they had 9 people left
Yeah.
on base.
Yeah.
And at that point, the Nationals had 1.
Yeah. Well, at that point, Greinke had given up 1 hit and 1
Yeah.
walk, and he got a double play on one of them. So he had faced 1 more than the minimum.
Yeah.
And when Rendon hit that home run,
Yeah, and meanwhile, Scherzer with
He
the
crushed it.
cortisone shot heard around the world. Like you said, T-Roy, he allowed 11 of the 23 batters he faced to reach base, which is very unlike him.
Yeah. He was still throwing sick stuff, though. I mean, you could see the movement on it. He was just a little off. Everything was just and they were doing a good job being disciplined up there. That was the thing I thought was impressive about the Astros.
when
That dude was throwing some stuff that I was like, man, how do you lay off that?
when Scherzer was in tears after the game, the only thing I was thinking of was, oh, this guy is so drugged up right now. This guy is loaded. There's no way Scherzer's crying in any other situation.
Well,
I get it. He was very excited to win the World Series. I feel like he was medicated heavily.
I just love you, man.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Question
Get it,
for you,
man?
Nick. Question. Early reports: is your sister going to be playing in the World Series parade?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her this morning,
Okay.
but it's possible. I know she did the Capitals one,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that was nuts because it was basically 3 or 4 days to put that together.
Yeah, and I think
See, we're connected on this show. We know people.
And
in
I know
high
Josh,
places
when he
everywhere.
called in, he said the same thing. He said it's just so weird because, how it works in baseball and everything else. The turnaround's going to be fast, but I think they're in the talks, he said. So, that's...
Well, that's another thing is we're supposed to all go down to Orlando next week.
Uh-oh.
To Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with the kids. They really do it. So who knows?
What day?
I'm leaving Thursday.
Oh, the parade will be by Monday, Tuesday. Yeah,
but
it does add a little bit of stress to everything.
You better start packing now.
Not for me.
Have that out of the way.
Like I said, Strasburg was World Series MVP, the first number one overall pick to win the MVP. He joins pitchers since 2000. Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, who were co-MVPs in 2001. Josh Beckett was MVP in 2003. Cole Hamels was MVP for the Philadelphia Phillies in 2008, and Madison Bumgarner in 2014. Howie Kendrick hits the go-ahead home run. He becomes the fourth overall oldest player to hit a home run in Game 7 of the World Series.
Really?
Yes.
Was it Willie Stargell one of them?
Willie Stargell is one of them. Very good.
Reggie Jackson?
Not.
No, it was Mel Ott.
Mel Ott's not on this list. I just have the top 5 right here.
What
I
are
mean, I
they?
could get more.
Mordecai Three Finger Brown.
Two of them on this list. The Mordecai Three Finger Brown. Really?
Hey,
let me
he
tell
really
you
gets the
something.
name old-timey baseball
Let me tell
players.
you
I get to
something.
do it too.
Three Finger Brown could rake. All right,
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say right there.
He's a regular tris
That
speaker.
was a good guess. Anyway. Two of them on this list are from the 2016 World Series.
Ah.
Well, Rossi.
Yep, he's the oldest at 39 years of age, 228 days.
And who would have been the other one? It wasn't a Cub, was it?
Nope.
So
Jim Thome wasn't still on that team.
He was not. And Jim Thome could not rake like Three Finger Mordecai Brown.
Sandy Alomar Jr.?
No. Rajai Davis.
Rajai Davis.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
He was 36 years young and 14 days. And the other one on this list is Roberto Clemente. Yeah. And then finally, the other crazy thing was,
I thought Clemente died young.
did you, he hit it at 37 years old. He could have passed away at 38. It's still young.
Fair enough.
And then the other thing, if for any Detroit Tiger fans out there, the 2014 Detroit Tiger starting pitching, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Rick Porcello, Anibal Sanchez, David Price, all of them own World Series rings.
That's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And they were on what team?
They were on the 2014 Detroit Tigers.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yowzer, that's crazy.
I hope Alex Bregman sends a happy birthday tweet to Mike Napoli. He turns 38 today. So I didn't see any tweets from Mike Napoli.
You know who's talking a lot of business? Trevor Plouffe.
Oh yeah.
Trevor Plouffe on Twitter.
Yeah, he likes Twitter. Yeah, he's all over it.
Plouffe.
He's the one that started the Taubman curse, right?
Yeah.
Tonight we got Thursday Night Football, 49ers at Cardinals. Later on we get a look at the NBA. Steph Curry broke his wrist, and we got to look at some Twitter beef. But let's talk to Adam. Adam, so you go out of town this weekend. You're going to learn about hops and barley and all that stuff.
Yep. Good breakout session on yeast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then a beard gel, a good that's an optional one. You can go and talk about how to get this beard.
Is it our lecture on mustache wax?
Neck beards and choosing the right flannel.
That's right. Depending on the weather and
LL
everything.
Bean, dude. You got to get LL Bean, bro.
All right, so what are we drinking here from Front Street today?
So this is our Desperado IPA. It's the newest in our rotating IPA series. Good malt backbone of this one.
Can you
Deep
sing it
gold
like
kind
Elmer
of
Fudd?
copper color. Desperado.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd singing Desperado?
Yeah.
Yeah. You never heard it?
No,
it's
obviously I haven't heard
hilarious.
Nuts for the Gnats either. So anyway, so when
He
you say
must live a
rotating,
sheltered life.
I guess so. When you say rotating, how long is this going to be on for?
About 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
I mean, they all go a little different rate, but usually, around 6 weeks before we're on to the next one.
All right, and then what are you doing for Halloween tonight?
I'm probably gonna sit in the safety of mine or a neighbor's garage and watch the boys trudge through the snow and collect some candy.
Throw some candy. Make the kids come into the garage where the heater is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nick, are you handing out candy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get anyone, but I'm going to hand out, like, I'll have some candy just in case somebody shows up.
How about like 300 pieces of candy? All the good stuff, too.
Oh, look, he's bragging over here.
I'm just saying.
You do full bars?
Hey, you want to come to my house?
No,
yeah.
I mean, I should. but,
Yeah, oh.
I mean,
Mr. Moneybags
be
over
cool.
here. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, they had that, like the 150 pack at Costco, man.
Okay.
Had everything in it, all the cool candy bars.
So you bought two?
Yeah.
like, what?
Like, and by the way, does anybody like Almond Joy or Mounds?
No.
What?
Who made that candy bar up? They should be shipped out.
In
of
your
here.
opinion, what are the cool candy bars?
Oh, that's
Well, you got Kit Kat. You got
Is cool.
You got peanut butter cups.
They're
you got
cool.
Snickers.
Yeah.
You got any sort of Hershey bar, Mr. Good bar, Hershey Crackle, Nestle Crunch.
That is a lot of candy that you just know off the top of your head.
Mr. Goodbar is one of the cool candies.
Oh, Mr. Good bar is pretty good, dude.
I mean, it's not
I
bad.
just had one the
I
other
wouldn't
day.
say he's cool, though.
It's
When was the
cool.
last time you
I'll
saw a
tell-
full-size Mr. Goodbar?
Mr. Goodbar hangs out with your grandma and her, like, butterscotch discs.
Tell you what, if you ate a Mr. Good bar and it had some peanuts in it, you'd be like, pretty darn good. I like Mr. Good bar.
If you eat a Mr. Goodbar and it
and
doesn't have
by
peanuts
the way,
in it.
No.
have you had the Hershey's peaches or what is not peaches and cream? It's something cookies and cream. Cookies and cream.
Yeah.
It's the white chocolate with like
It's tra-
Oreos in
it's
it.
trash.
Oh, it's not trash. It's gold.
No
Jerry.
good.
Oh, it's so good.
No good. White
But
chocolate.
yeah,
okay,
I'll
you-
take a Milky Way. I'll take a Three Musketeers.
You've got a
You know,
list of
they're in
everything.
there.
What is the not good candy?
All right.
What's the least cool candy?
all right.
Candy corn.
No, I love candy corn.
Oh
Candy corn's
man.
gross.
But
Good and plenty.
Good and plenty or
All
gross.
right, here's the thing.
Yeah.
What are the
Juju? Is it Juju, the one that
the
gets
sweet
stuck?
tarts in a roll?
Jujubes.
Yeah.
The sweet tarts in a small
Smarties,
roll.
Smarties.
Smarties, the little small ones.
Yeah.
That's garbage. The suckers are okay.
Smarties are fine.
No, they're not. They're
What's
terrible.
that?
It's just
Dum
mainline
Dums,
and sugar at
Dum
that
Dums,
point.
Blow Pops, Charms.
They're okay.
Airheads.
Don't hand out nerds. Nerds are terrible.
Sprees.
Nerds aren't
Oh,
terrible.
nerds are terrible.
Where are you going? How old are you? Is there a cutoff like you?
I ate
you like
nerds,
candy
man.
corn?
I had them, but I'm like, I like candy corn. I do. I don't know why. I love candy corn.
That's weird.
But like people don't like it. Like if I was a kid and you handed me candy corn, I'd be like, dude, really? Like grandma has candy corn.
Any type of hard candy that you can find in your grandma's candy dish.
Yeah.
Should not be handed out.
Don't
at
be
college.
handing out. Don't be handing out.
Here's a nice butterscotch
Brock's,
for you.
yeah, Brock's butterscotch
Yeah.
or Werther's
Or
original. Don't be handing that
peppermint.
stuff out. Yeah. Yeah, the stuff that you can get at an Italian restaurant at the end, Andes candies and all that. That's not a candy
Can
for a
we?
kid.
Now that you said restaurant.
Here's some fortune cookies I fished out of my drawer.
Exactly.
Before we go to break, can we just give a few minutes that we have yet to do to say to give our respects to Happy Joe Whitty?
yeah.
You guys didn't do that yet?
No, we
were
there's
gonna get to it
Game
yesterday.
6 was really crazy.
I know.
I mean, there was a lot to get through.
Poor Happy Joe picked the wrong day to die. Huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so that's a loss to the Quad Cities.
Well, yeah.
QC
I
legend.
think
Yeah.
he's gonna his legacy will carry on. I mean, I think there's people in place to take over the Happy Joe's franchise. I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna fall apart.
No, but yeah.
but definitely he was a innovator, right?
yeah.
Taco pizza, man.
Taco pizza. I mean, whether it was him or someone that worked for him that invented it, at least he gave it the thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. He did.
I think he was the first one to do the BLT pizza too,
He was.
which is pretty darn good.
It's very good. Nick doesn't like it.
First one here, the first one ever.
I think first one ever
I
BLT.
think you're talking
Well,
way
fine.
insane.
We're going back to Taco.
Okay.
He was that though.
Well, we know Taco. I'm just saying.
I'm saying there's a 0% chance he was the first person to do BLT pizza.
That's not true. You don't know that. You can't say zero for.
All I know when I was a little kid, growing up in Waterloo, and you had a birthday party, dude, you wanted it at Happy Joe's. They turned the siren on. I mean, that stuff's gone, but that was gold, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? We have a very special birthday guest. His name is Jade. He's 9 years old.
Honka honka.
I'd like you all to join us and get wishing him a happy birthday, singing happy birthday with him. Honka, honka, honka.
Dude, the
Happy
siren.
birthday to you. Honka, 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 honka. The other thing, do you remember this? And I don't know if you guys had it at Waterloo. When you used to have the window and you could watch them make the pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that was legit.
That was true innovation in the
Yeah.
Quad Cities.
You could watch them, yeah.
Well, and the fact though that they would have the ice cream there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the first pizza place said, you know what? We're gonna make this. The parents won't be able to stop the kids from complaining about coming here. They'll have to bring them here, and we'll have some really cheap ice cream. We'll sell for a ton of money.
Do you think that's the board
Cheap.
meeting they had? They're like,
Hell
listen,
yeah, it was.
how do we get these kids? We make these parents, we bring them in, We'll get them on the pizza. The next thing you know, they're walking out with ice
If
cream.
we were doing it right, every bar we had would have some sort of costumed creature to get the kids as soon as they turn 21.
All right. So on tap right now and the rotating is the Desperado IPA. Tomorrow you've got the peanut butter porter, right?
Correct.
I said it's not peanut. Is it peanut butter cup or peanut butter?
Peanut butter cup.
Peanut butter cup porter. That's going to be at the tap room down at the Freight House.
And that's just the Firkin, right?
Yep. That'll just be the Firkin. So we did one of these last year around Halloween, the peanut butter cup porter, and it went over really well. So I expect this one probably won't last too long. So if you want to try it, come on down tomorrow.
And we got to ask, how's the restaurant coming?
It's coming, man.
Good.
We're so close. There's just so many like little tiny things that got to get finished up and come together. But it's very close on the horizon.
Well, the river's gone now. Well, I mean, it's still there, but at least it's not by your front door anymore.
We're under flood stage.
Yeah.
For a couple days at least.
Yeah. Why not? For the snow melts, whatever.
I'm pretty sure someone from the city of Davenport is going to redirect the water.
Where's the iBest at? Des Moines?
Des Moines, actually, at Exile Brewing in Des Moines. So
When do you take off for that?
bright and early tomorrow morning. You got to be up there at 8 a.m.-ish.
Right.
What? So you're leaving here at like 3?
It doesn't take that long to get to Des Moines.
Well, you got to get there early and get settled.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are pretty early.
But Halloween tonight, I didn't want to go up a night early. So
Well, drive safe, man, because there's going to be a lot of black ice out there. It's going to be nasty weather. I don't want you getting hurt, all right?
All right, Adam, thank you so much for coming in. Thanks for bringing in the
Absolutely,
Desperado. We appreciate it. Always look forward to hanging out with you every week. Good luck to your Colts this week.
Desperado.
You're at the Steelers. I don't know if T-Roy's still soft on the Colts, but I'm starting to think maybe
Colts are good.
they might be a little bit.
it's coming together.
It might be a false 5-2.
Last week was a little ugly, but we squeaked it out.
I think they might be fraudulent. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I think they
still
might
have
be
them in the
too.
top 10, but I think they might be a little
I'm
fraudulent.
still pulling for them in the Super Bowl versus the 49ers. I'm
That's
not
a
going to
playoff
lie.
team, the
but
Colts.
they're a playoff team. Man,
Playoff team.
I don't know.
Which is more than you expected. You lose Andrew Luck.
It's true.
We'll see. There's still some time.
The Andrew Luck testing out the
You have little
newly
faith.
named Bryce Harper theory. The Colts are. They're testing it out. All right. Thanks, Adam. We appreciate it. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the Bob Father in here to talk about UFC coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, the Bobber. Front Street Brewery is the oldest brew pub in the state of Iowa, and it's nestled right along the bank of the mighty Mississippi. It's been serving Davenport since 1992 with all these awesome beers like the Davenport Gold, the Wise Guy, the Raging River, and the oh-so-popular Cherry Bomb Blonde. You can check out the Facebook page for the food and drink specials and visit the webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. The restaurant is soon to be open again at 208 East River Drive. Tap room's rocking and rolling in the Freight House complex, so please get down and try some beers from our friends at Front Street Brewery.
This is Adam Rosso from Hawkeye Headquarters, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Final home matches, along with the conference meets, highlight the remainder of the fall athletic schedule at Augustana College. Doubleheader soccer hits the pitch at Thorson Lucan Field Saturday the 26th. The women host Elmhurst at 1, the men at 3:30. Saturday the 2nd sees action heading inside the Carver Center for women's volleyball and the Pumpkin Bash. First match is at 10 a.m. Then men's and women's cross country hosts the CCIW Championships at Saukey Golf Course starting at noon. Augustana College, a family-friendly front row seat to big-time small college sports.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
This is Skip Tracer from the outdoor reality show Joe Bazillionaire. Joe, is it true that you inherited the state of Montana and have thousands of acres to play on, and you're here to find an ATV to spend the rest of your life with? Well, that's why I'm here. Here come the contestants now. Ooh, the competition is stiff. The power, the flexibility, the low monthly payments, the winches, the plows, the camo covers. Look at that Suzuki ATV from Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic. So powerful, so sleek, so... It's going to be a tough call, but I'm leaning towards the Suzuki with 3 headlights, automatic transmission, and push-button 4-wheel drive. They all have pretty bodies and fancy switches. But the real test will be on the individual dates, alone with each machine in the back country. It's anyone's guess what sort of bump and grind I'll experience. Well, looks like Joe is one happy camper. Get happy yourself in your own Suzuki ATV from Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic across from Alcoa. Almost.
Suzuki ATVs are recommended only for those 16 years and older. Suzuki recommends an approved training course. See your dealer for details.
If you're running a business, how much should you invest in retaining your employees? First Midwest Bank has ideas. In today's tight labor market, keeping your employees is more important than ever. A First Midwest banker can help you determine what type of 401k plan to offer. At First Midwest Bank, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com.
Oh, excuse me?
Yes?
Is your apartment empty?
No, all my stuff's there.
Like what?
My big screen TV, computer, iPod, etc.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Because your landlord's property insurance doesn't cover those things from fire, vandalism, and theft.
Oh.
But if you had renter's insurance, they'd be covered.
I gotta go back home. I think I left my oven on.
Protect your possessions with renter's insurance. Contact Jorgensen Insurance in the Quad Cities. Online at jorgenseninsurance.com.
ESPN 1170 AM is the Quad Cities sports leader and your home of the local sports show. Don't hassle us, we're local. Listen for a chance to win everything from tickets to free food. Every time you win and pick up your prize at the ESPN 1170 AM Pepsi ticket window, we'll give you a free Pepsi for the road as well. It's like winning twice. Get more chances to win by downloading the ESPN 1170 AM app or by going to ESPN1170am.com.
Every hit of Chicago Bear football can be heard on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, I'm leaving.
No, come on.
It's a classic.
That is, how is that not caught on?
It doesn't come on around here.
In the East Coast, in that megalopolis?
Well, they used to play, I think they used to play that for their ticket sales commercials and here's the upcoming Nats games. Come on down to the stadium. I heard that one years ago.
Yeah,
I was like, why is this happening?
All right. Well, welcome back to Don't Hassle for Local, ESPN 1170, live in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dunright TV and Security. And joining us in the Hassle Castle, along with myself, T. Roy, and Nick Toffanelli, is the Bob Father, Bob McClellan. Bob.
Use my government name. Oh, my gosh.
Robert. Bob, we got a big UFC fight this weekend.
We do.
Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz.
Yep.
For the BMF title.
Now, what's this going on with Nate, though?
Yeah, take us through what's
dropping
happening.
Dropping a hot Yui.
Well, the UFC has really big guidelines, and so does boxing, and you got to have drug testing. And Nate Diaz is probably one of the guys that doesn't have the biggest build in the UFC. You know, he was never known for being looking like this.
Yeah, he's always a pretty skinny dude.
Yeah. He's totally against steroids, totally against all that. But something popped up on one of the soy proteins he takes, and it was banned by the UFC. And Nate's calling it a conspiracy, but he's able to fight now, so it's no big deal. So everybody just chill out. The fight is still on Saturday night.
But stop right there. So he drops hot, all right?
Right.
And then he's like, no, all you guys are on steroids. I'm not.
Right.
And the UFC's like, well, you might be right, Nate. So we're not gonna
right
call it the fight.
I guess it popped up.
Was there a B sample?
He took a sample, and they said that it was he showed up hot, but Nate had no idea that it was hot because there's so many rules, and sometimes stuff just gets in somehow. There's so many chemicals or so many different things that go into different kinds of supplements. Kind of like the John Jones case that happened a while back. John Jones got peed hot for Cialis. It was actually liquid Cialis that he bought off the streets, and they flagged that. I mean, how is Cialis going to help you during a fight? You know what I mean?
I don't
Depends on who you're fighting. Where's the fight being held? Between the sheets? Yeah.
Hey,
you know,
man,
you never know.
I can't touch these things.
Some guys need a little help, you know? Maybe you need a little help.
A little partner.
Yeah. Hey, little buddy.
So, is there anything else going on this in this
fight card?
This card, yeah.
The fight card is the BMF, and it's really awesome because Donald Trump's going to be there for one. Can't remember the last time
really
the president of the United States ever been to a UFC fight.
Where's the fight at?
I think it's New York.
So what's the draw that he was just like, you know what I haven't done? I haven't gone and seen anyone win a BMF title.
And guess who is handing the title out when the title is won?
I think you told me this, but who is it?
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Wow.
Yeah, so Dwayne Johnson's handing out the BMF title. Donald Trump's going to be on site watching the fights. I mean, I can't even think of the last time. I don't think a president has ever gone to a UFC fight.
The Rock says he's going to make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
Yeah, I don't remember any other presidents going to any UFC fights.
Yeah, and the rest of the card's pretty stacked too. So I'm going to watch it at Riverside. Isn't that place? Isn't what it's called? Riverside, right there by the police station in Bettendorf.
It is.
Yep. Heard they have pretty good wings there.
They do. And then I know at the Draft Day Lounge for Elite Sportsbook, there's no cover there. You could also watch in the Rhythm Room on, Alex told us on Tuesday, I mean, a very, very large screen TV.
Yeah.
Again, no cover there on either side of those. So
Also on the card is Kevin Gastelum versus Darren Till, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Vince Luque, and Darren Lewis, the guy that won the fight and said that his genitalia area was hot. My balls were hot. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He ended up winning, and the guy's like, "How's the fight go?" He goes, "My balls are hot."
Yeah.
So he's fighting again, and Kevin Lee is also on the card. So the card's really, really stacked. I'm surprised they're making it a pay-per-view because there's no title on the line. Wait, the BMF title. It's kind of brought up, kind of like when remember $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
He had the $1 Million title. You got your. You know, you have your heavyweight title and the Intercontinental Tag Team. That was it. And then Ted DiBiase's like, "Oh yeah,
I'm gonna one up you."
Yeah.
He made the $1 million belt.
So actually, Nate Diaz made it up, and both these guys have got 10 losses on their records, but they also have like 20 or 30 wins. So they've been around for a long time. This Masvidal guy is the one that knocked out Ben Askren with the flying knee in 5 seconds.
Yeah, you wouldn't be in this situation if he didn't do that within the...
Well, he used to fight back with Kimbo Slice.
Yeah.
In the backyard fighting, Kimbo Slice would videotape him fighting in his backyard fights back when it was cool. So Masvidal's been around for a long time, and then that's the reason why Diaz called him out, because he's the BMF.
Which one is Diaz is?
Diaz is the one that made the whole title thing up. His last win that he had, he was like, "I got a title. I'm coming after who's the BMF," and, and then he called out Jorge.
From what I understand, Jorge, he dropped Askren, and it was basically a matter of however Askren's first step, they knew he was going to go high or low.
He knew he was going to wrestle.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Askren has no stand up at all, but he's an Olympic wrestler. He's a very qualified wrestler.
So Jorge drops him and becomes famous, and all of a sudden he's Dan Le Batard's favorite guy
well,
ever.
Before that, he knocked out Darren Till, who's also on the card, and he's ranked number 5. And then before that, these guys are at the peak of their game right now.
What took him so long? This sounds like Cinderella Man.
You got to work your way up, man. It's kind of like Conor McGregor when he was ranked 9. It was fun to watch him come up and beat everybody, but once he won, then he wasn't hot anymore.
Yeah, but 10 losses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've been around. Nate's been around forever, and so has Masvidal. Been around forever.
Well, what turns the corner that you're no longer? There's 10 people on the planet that said I beat this guy who thinks he's the BMF.
That's the same as Henderson. Benson Henderson beat both these guys, and they asked Benson Henderson what he thought about, Diaz and Masvidal going for the BMF title when he's beat both of them. How can you do that?
I'm asking you. I don't know. A lot of these things I don't understand.
Well, here's the thing.
What happens if this thing ends in a tie? What happens if it ends in a tie?
It's not going to be a tie. That's why they have...
It's happened before.
Well, not usually, because that's why they have 3 rounds, and that's why they have 5 rounds to make it odd. But sometimes a point gets taken away or a point gets added, and it can be. But I don't think it will. I don't really have a prediction for the winner of this one, because I think they both win, because they're both at their hottest. And another thing, the record they have, in UFC and mixed martial artists, you can't be afraid to lose. You know, when you lose, you learn. And people think, well, once you lose, now you're no longer any good. But you just can't lose and be like, it's very important to learn how to win, and it's very important to learn how to lose in this game.
Yeah, what I'm asking, though, is just like, what makes them at the top of their game right now? That's all. Just because, like you said, they're putting their pride on the line.
They're the hottest right now.
Okay.
They're the hottest. Masvidal has won his last 3, and Diaz has been running through people, and everybody wants to see Diaz fight. Everybody loves watching Diaz fight. And this Masvidal guy, he's the same way. He's a brawler. Like, it's these guys, you know they're not going to run from each other. You know they're going to stand in front of each other. You know that there's going to be blood everywhere, and at the end of the day, they're going to shake hands and they're going to hug it out, and it's going to be awesome.
All right, who's the favorite? Who's going to win? Diaz is the favorite, right?
I don't know. I think they had it.
I think it was pretty close, and then
yeah, it's close. It's close.
But
Even in my mind.
Alex said he thinks by all the time the tickets come in at the Elite Sportsbook outside the Draft Day Lounge that Diaz will end up being the favorite.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to have to be a stand-up game because nobody wants to go on the ground with Nate Diaz because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu trained by Gracie. So you just don't go on the ground with Nate Diaz, period.
And what does The Rock have to do with this?
Absolutely nothing. But, you know, Rock's cool, you know.
Yeah. But so he's just there he gets paid to just show up with the...
I bet you they gave him a lot of money. I mean,
Does he have a Fast and Furious to promote? Is that what he's doing? Is there Jumanji 2? There is a Jumanji 2 coming out.
Right. No, I think everybody's pretty much just in favor of this whole fight. This should not be a pay-per-view, but it is. And it should be, because there's not a title on the line.
Yeah.
There's not a title on the line, so it should be just free for the people. But, of course, the UFC is going to make a bunch of money off of it. And that's why I think they cleared the Diaz thing, is because I think they realized how much money they're going to lose. And they're like, look, let's just brush this.
Yeah.
No, we didn't see that.
It was soy protein. That's what it was.
Well, and everybody knows that Diaz is not a cheater. Everybody knows that. I mean, look at the guy.
Yeah. I think, but when you mentioned the professional wrestling, the other titles, I sometimes the smaller titles and even the $1 million belt, but like the Intercontinental sometimes takes over the highlight of the big title.
Yeah.
You look at like WrestleMania 3, but not that the UFC is scripted or they're doing anything remotely similar to the WWE, and I say that tongue in cheek. So what's going on with Conor McGregor? You mentioned him.
Conor McGregor is now, he was talking about fighting Frankie Edgar, and Dana White put a squash to that. And now they're talking about Donald Cowboy Cerrone, which also has over 10 losses. That doesn't make him a crappy fighter either. It's, if you're in the game and you can entertain and make money, people don't care how many losses you have. It's like Clay Guida, Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler's got, I'm sure he's got 10 losses.
Yeah.
These guys put on a fight every time they show up.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter if they win or lose because you're going to be entertained.
I have to apologize. I meant to surprise you guys, and I got busy. I wanted to bring up the Amazon Fire Stick and throw up the WWE Network because they're in Saudi Arabia right now, and Cain Velasquez is wrestling Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
So I wanted to have that on.
And Brock Lesnar's scared to death of King Vasquez.
We got shipped out of that, Nick. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Well, I know you guys care.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay. Come on,
you know, I bet you if I came in and said I have a surprise for you, you'd be super nervous.
A little.
Well, it depends on if you were whispering it or not.
I have a surprise for you.
I see. I'd be scared. I love that you're wearing a breast cancer cowboy hat, though.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I love my Cowboys. I just hate them.
Why?
They're so hurtful.
They look great.
We lost to the Jets.
It's all right.
It was hurtful.
You sure did.
Then we beat the Eagles, and I was like, yeah!
All's good.
And now, let's take a break, and we'll come back. We'll talk NFL. We'll talk about the Cowboys.
We're going to talk NFL?
Yeah, we got to talk NFL. We got Thursday Night Football coming on tonight. We're going to talk a little bit more World Series, a little bit NFL. We got to hang out with the Bob Father for a little bit.
All right.
Hey, Quad City, stop going to your social media sites asking where you're going to get your oil changed, who does the best tattoo work, or where you're going to grab some lunch. Just pick up your Locals Love Us guide. It has an easy-to-navigate table of contents to help you find what you're looking for. Or you can just go to the website, localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, and browse your favorites. It's easy to use, and they even rank the most popular places for you. So make sure you check those guys out. They're our friends from Locals Love Us, your guide to the best.
This is Coach A.C. Earl. Don't hassle us, we're local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Leaks, ruts, nooks, cranny, crevice, tooth. You've got those wet basement blues. Call the absolutely dry guy. Call the absolutely dry guy. Put that water back in its place. It's time to reclaim your living space when you call the absolutely dry guy. Or visit us online at absolutelydryguy.com. This was brought to you by Absolutely Dry Basement Waterproofing.
If you're running a business, how much should you invest in retaining your employees? First Midwest Bank has ideas. In today's tight labor market, keeping your employees is more important than ever. A First Midwest banker can help you determine what type of 401k plan to offer. At First Midwest Bank, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com.
Final home matches, along with the conference meets, highlight the remainder of the fall athletic schedule at Augustana College. Doubleheader soccer hits the pitch at Thorson Lucan Field Saturday the 26th. The women host Elmhurst at 1, the men at 3:30. Saturday the 2nd sees action heading inside the Carver Center for women's volleyball and the Pumpkin Bash. First match is at 10 a.m. Then men's and women's cross country hosts the CCIW Championships at Saukey Golf Course starting at noon. Augustana College, a family-friendly front row seat to big-time small college sports.
Oh, excuse me?
Yes?
Is your apartment empty?
No, all my stuff's there.
Like what?
My big screen TV, computer, iPod, etc.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Because your landlord's property insurance doesn't cover those things from fire, vandalism, and theft.
Oh.
But if you had renter's insurance, they'd be covered.
I gotta go back home. I think I left my oven on.
Protect your possessions with renter's insurance. Contact Jorgensen Insurance in the Quad Cities. Online at jorgenseninsurance.com.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles, too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
Hey hunters, time to get ready for fall hunting season. Get your hunting gear, arrows, and bow tuned up at R&R Sports in Bettendorf. Try out a new bow or crossbow on their new indoor range before you buy it. Bows from Matthews, Hoyt, Bowtech, and PSE are in stock. Crossbows from Raven and PSE. Maybe it's new guns and ammunition you want. Shop guns from Benelli, Stoger, Franchi, Springfield, Ruger, and Remington. For fishing, R&R Sports has it all, including live bait, minnows, and crawlers. Their bait is guaranteed to catch fish or die trying. Online at rnrsportsinc.com.
Your home of the Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bears, and the only local sports show in the Quad Cities. Don't hassle us, we're local. Noon to 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
We're back here in the Hassle Castle. This is Don't Ask Us Local on AM 1170. The K-Bob. And speaking of Bobs.
I hope we weren't on air just now.
No, you weren't. We weren't.
K-Bobbing, and we're bobbing here on the K-Bob with the bobber. Bob Fox.
Hey, guys. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ghost.
Ghost too.
Go stand over there and I'll bring you some candy. Knock, knock.
Oh, boy.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo.
Don't cry. It's just a Halloween costume.
Oh, boy.
Well, guys, it's not just Halloween. It's also National Knock Knock Joke Day.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
that's right. So laugh out loud on National Joke Day. October 31st encourages telling a few funny knock-knock jokes while going door to door. Why does anybody apply to have a national day on Halloween? Like, why would you do that? Like, I guess I would understand this one. National Doorbell Day, because you would ring the doorbell a little bit more on this day.
Is it Ding Dong Ditch'em Day?
It's not. It says because this day rings more than any other.
Did you ever do that when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. But now people have cameras. Do you have a camera?
Yeah.
You have a camera? See now.
I have a camera.
Everybody's got to have a camera.
But
right?
have you ever lit poop on fire and then rang the doorbell?
Don't put it out with your boot, Carl.
I have.
Yeah.
I have a really bad story about that.
Well,
It's
go
poop
on.
again.
Would you like to hear the story?
Don't tell me my business, devil woman.
Jay's not saying yes. You want to hear my poop story?
As long as it's clean, and it's
Well,
poop story,
I don't
so
know how
it can't
clean
be.
poop can be. I promise I'll say poop. How's that?
Don't put it out with your boot, Carl.
So I did a ding dong dish trick to some guy I didn't like, and I was probably 25 when this happened, so I was an adult.
And that
You
guy
were,
was
you were
Governor
not
Terry
25.
Branstad.
You were older than this.
The fact that
I was married and I was about 25.
Bob, you did this when we were coaching wrestling together.
You remember the story?
You were about 30. 29 or 30. Yeah, go on.
You know the story?
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about. I know
So I was
exactly.
having a Halloween party, and I figured I'd clean up all the dog poop out of my yard.
God.
And I put it all in a box, and I was like, okay, I'll just throw it away. Wait a second. I saw this movie called Billy Madison where he lights the little bag of poop on fire, and the guy comes out and he stomps it out, and, it's hilarious. Well,
It's poop again.
so I take this box and I put it in front of this guy's house, and I light it on fire. Well, it's a box of poop. It's huge. So,
No
like,
one's gonna put it out with their boot, Bob.
no, and I ring the doorbell, and we're all sitting there laughing. We're hiding behind the bushes laughing because dude's going to come out. And this fire is 6 foot high.
Oh, no.
And you were not 25.
So I grabbed the box. I'm like, holy poop.
Yeah.
And I grabbed this box, and I'm running with it, and I have a fire pit in my backyard, and I throw it in the fire pit. I'm like, oh, that was close. Oh, the next day, the police department comes, knocks on my door, and they're like, hey, there's a trail of poop going from the front of this guy's house to your fire pit with pieces of box everywhere. Do you know anything about this? I'm like, poop.
Yeah.
So I had to apologize to the guy, and I got off. He didn't press charges, but I said I was sorry twice. But yeah, so I lit poop on fire, and it was 6 foot high, and I left a trail of poop at 30 years old.
Yeah,
True story.
You were not 25.
Jay's like, I remember this story.
Yeah, I remember.
That was
it.
last week.
Yeah.
To catch a thief, everyone.
Why are you talking about old stuff?
It's also National Caramel Apple Day. I guess you can't do that anymore. Remember in the 80s you couldn't get the apple thing, and
Well, there was razor blades in every one of them.
yeah,
right?
you can't do that anymore.
And don't be handing out, yeah.
Nope. And National Magic Day. National Magic Day.
Nick, you're a magician, right?
I am not.
I have a magic trick.
Yeah.
Come on, let me show it.
All right.
All right.
All right. Anybody got a quarter?
No. All right.
Well, I got one right here.
All right.
So the quarter's in my. It's a penny. Sorry.
All right.
The penny's in my hand.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good. Jay, not even watching.
Uh-huh.
Now it's in this hand.
Mhm.
Now it's in my pocket. Back in my hand again.
Wow.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
It's,
All right, I'm gonna pass on.
I can imagine it's only better on our listeners on the radio.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
better with a quarter.
It's,
Yeah. It's
better
Nobody
when you can't see
listen.
it.
You can't even hear the radio right now.
Yeah.
1170's out right now.
Oh,
Yeah, we're on
great.
Facebook Live. All right, so it is Halloween, and it doesn't feel like it out there, but I'm pretty sure the weather.
The
will-
listeners were like, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get better as it goes on. All right. So the World Series is over with. An epic World Series. I don't know where that ranks. I think Bobby was right. Maybe recency bias makes it as good as it was, but it just seemed like all those scores were a lot closer than they actually
every
were.
one of those games seemed closer than it was. Even last night.
Yeah, and there's just no
Yeah,
way.
but because there was just like one inning. It was always towards the end of the game where either one of the other teams blew up and made it out of reach, or somewhat out of reach. But yeah.
Yeah, it was entertaining. That's good enough for me. As long as if both kids at 9 and 8 years old are entertained for baseball and they don't want to watch YouTube or Netflix or ask me to change the channel, that's enough that I ask for at this age right now. So that it was entertaining. They had a good time. All right, tonight we've got the 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. I have the line on that. Let's see. This opened up with the 49ers were 8-point favorites, but this has been moved and bet to -10 for them, meaning the pros and the Joes are both on this. So they're laying the points. So right now it's sitting at 10. And the other thing is that the over-under has moved from 44 to 43. Primetime unders are 19-6 on the year. Just a little bit over 76% hitting. Also tonight, Georgia Southern's at Appalachian State. Appalachian State 7-0, ranked 20th. Appalachian State is listed, opened up at 17.5-point home favorites, but we've seen this move down to 15. showing a sharp money grabbing the points with the road dog. So the thing is right here, looking at this, App State is 5-2 against the spread. Georgia Southern's 2-5 against the spread. And Appalachian State's been outscoring their opponents by an average of 41-19 this season. So that doesn't really fall on the 15. But the Sharps are in on the points and taking Georgia Southern. And West Virginia is at Baylor. Baylor's 7-0 and ranked 12th. West Virginia's 2-5 against the spread this year and averages just 22.7 points per game. Baylor is 4-3 against the spread, and their average margin of victory is 39-19. So Baylor's listed as 17.5 point favorite, and in this situation, which is rare, Pros and Joes seem to be in agreement with this one as well. 2/3 of the points are backing Baylor to cover, and has pushed the line up to 18 in some places, and some books are even at 18.5. The over is sitting at 55.5. It got pushed all the way up to 15, but the Pros came in and started hammering it, and now it's settled at 56. The NFL, who are your Cowboys playing this weekend, guys?
The Giants, Monday Night Football, baby.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
New York Giants. Football
With our new addition at defense, Michael Bennett.
I'm excited about that.
That was a day before the trade deadline, right?
Yep. Everybody's rested up. That O-line should be nice and healthy. Ooh.
Yeah. The Giants.
You're
Ooh.
playing the Giants.
I know.
What do you,
Hey, we lost to the Jets.
if you lose to the Giants, you're basically just not a good team.
What happens if you lose to the Jets?
I mean, there was
ghosts.
You
There
were
was ghosts
banged
there.
up.
There was ghosts there, though.
You
We
were
still could've won.
both your tackles were hurt. Like that was an anomaly. More like the Cowboys are a good team this year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, did you guys talk about this NCAA ruling, by the way, yesterday?
Yeah.
Pretty big deal.
It's a big deal, but it really was nothing more than a stall tactic by the NCAA.
It sounds like that, right? It sounds like we're gonna kick this down the road a little bit, and hopefully we don't have to deal with it.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna give you, we're gonna let them get paid for their image, likeness, and name, but we're not gonna come out with anything concrete to how we're gonna do it because we know how incredibly complex this is. So we're just gonna say, everybody back off of us and telling us how we're just out for ourselves. We're in agreement with this bill that passed in September by California, but we have no idea what we're gonna do about this. That's basically it. And honestly, the whole thing is it's really strange because how do you regulate this?
You don't.
What do you mean you don't?
You don't.
You can't be the wild west out there.
Why not?
Wild West.
What do you
It's
mean?
happening already.
The
And
whole
it's illegal.
happening
And
already
everybody's
thing
trying to.
is,
It is though, Jay.
the whole it's happening already thing.
Just because it doesn't happen in Iowa doesn't
It's
mean
easy
it's
to
not
say
happening.
it's happening already, but if you can give concrete things, be like, oh, this car dealership at Oklahoma State did this or whatever.
It's not that transparent because it's all under the table. Now it can be transparent. And who cares? If Nick owns a car dealership and Bobby's the best running back in the state of Iowa, and Nick's like, listen, if you go to Iowa,
Both of these both seem really plausible. Go
yeah,
on.
but if you
It's a
do
great
this-
example. Yes.
Bobby,
I'm over here dreaming.
Yes.
I'll give you $500,000 if you go to Iowa and you can come and do commercials for me.
Make it 600 and you're down.
If this
Tries
rich
a hard
guy,
bargain.
if this rich guy wants to give him
negotiating
$500,000,
over this.
Put some rims on a Ford for me and I'll do it.
it's his money. It's not the university's money. It's not the taxpayers' money.
Right.
It's his damn money. Let him spend it the way he wants.
his
As long as
damn
it's
money.
as long as it's transparent. Who cares?
When does it stop?
Who cares when it stops?
Why?
You go to a high school junior. Say you're very, very good at basketball.
Okay.
All I need you to do is I need you to just wear this T-shirt on Instagram because you're an influencer. Now, your entire amateur status is gone. As a high school junior, when does it stop?
It's you wearing a shirt
What
and making money off your image and likeness.
What's
Yeah.
the amateur status? Have to
Yeah,
do?
and
Who
how does-
cares?
I'm wondering-
You
You guys
can't
just-
be in high school and get paid to play.
Why not?
Why not?
See, so this is what we're doing. We're going to now go all the way down to juniors.
You
in the
can,
junior high.
Listen, if you want to pay,
You
a
can play
junior in high
professional
school,
hockey in high school.
Yeah,
You
If
can play. You can
play
you can-
professional baseball in high school. Listen, if you're that good and your image and likeness,
Since when can you play professional baseball in high school and still be
There's
eligible to
16,
play
17-year-olds who are affiliated with professional
in
baseball.
Puerto Rico? But can you play for the Assumption Knights while doing this?
Puerto Rico's in
Why not?
America.
why not?
It's not the same thing, and you
Why
know it's
isn't?
not.
Why isn't it?
And the kids that are playing in high school in whatever. I can't. Saskatchewan. They're not.
Listen, if you're a junior at Bettendorf, okay, and you're the #1 wrestling prospect, okay,
yes,
for a night's program,
I like these dreams.
okay, and Happy Joe says, "Hey, I want you to come do a promotion. We're gonna do $100."
You can't do it.
Why can't you?
Because you lose your amateur status. I mean, you
Well,
just
now
can't.
it doesn't matter because you can make money off your
That's
amateur
what I'm saying.
likeness.
This is a weird situation, but we're going all the way down because of social
What is
media
it?
and social media influencers. You now high schoolers are going to start suing, like Iowa State at Iowa. They're going to start.
What is
suing
the
high school
benefit to
athletic
having
associations.
amateur status?
to play? What? You're just going to play AAU everything?
No.
And that's amateur too. Amateur athletic union.
Okay, but why can't they get paid? I guess
I'm saying it. There's got to be stops. So you can't say it's been going on forever and just be like it's fine. Just go ahead. There's got to
You
be
think the guys
regulations.
that play in AAU aren't getting paid?
They're getting what? Free shoes? Free warm-ups?
I mean, there's no
sure,
money there at all.
I'm sure Brown's mama got some money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% positive of that.
I'm just saying you need to have regulations. You can't just say it's been going on forever anyway.
I don't understand if you're transparent about what you're doing. If it's 100% transparency, you can pay anybody as much as you want. You just got to say what you paid. You just got to declare what you're paying.
So it's basically like it is now, only with an actual above board accounting of what's happening.
You pay with cash and not check.
You can pay with a check now.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be a bunch of $100 bills on a wooden box.
So a kid is playing high school basketball.
I mean, for your thing, then it has to be an adult.
So boosters are
But how come kids? But now you're to the point where kids can't make money.
So now it's just a matter of, hey, when you announce your top 5 on Instagram, just make sure you tag in my business. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be a trickle down effect.
But why? Why is it bad?
Why is that a problem?
I guess I don't get your point. Why is it bad? Like, what do you mean you lose your amateur status? You're not losing your amateur status now because it's all legal and it's above the board.
All right, I guess I see what you're
You're
saying
still-
there.
you're still
Why couldn't a kid?
You're still going to go
why
on
couldn't a
and
kid from
play.
here be like, oh, I always shop at Hy-Vee, and Hy-Vee gives him $200, and he can still play high school basketball. Why would he
Yeah.
not be able to play high school
I mean,
basketball?
if you're dumb enough to give some young high school kid a ton of money to do something,
But can he go to Target now?
that's on you.
You can still go to Target?
That's you as a business. But whatever business it is, I mean, it's not like I'm not saying that an alumni from Bettendorf should be able to bribe a kid to leave Davenport Central to come to Bettendorf.
Happens all the time.
That's what will happen.
But technically,
Doesn't that already happen?
Name when that has happened.
I know, but I'm saying
Like this is ludicrous to be like, isn't it already happening? It's already happening. But now we're down to high school athletics, and you're saying like it's already happening. It's not already happening.
Okay,
this is all bad, reckless, harmful speculation.
You're
to say
saying
that businesses are doing this.
You're saying it never before in the history of high school athletics.
Yes,
has
on
a-
the
has a
movie,
kid-
on the
has
TV
a
show
kid-
Friday Night Lights.
Has a kid transferred because somebody promised his parents a job somewhere
if you're a
else?
kid, all right,
That's happened. Yes, check. Done.
Maybe you have
Okay.
to.
Yep, that's happening.
So that's happening.
But maybe you have to stop it and say, all right, high school kids can't be transferring for money, and you can't get that. But man, you're creating a barrier that
Assumption gives free tuition. Just saying.
I don't know
They
if
do
that's
give
true or not.
scholarships.
But I mean, whatever. I mean, they're a private school too.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that it's going to trickle down. There has to be some type of regulations. And who's going to get, how do you get paid? So, again, Title IX is the one elephant in the room. Title IX is the thing that it's going to get involved here eventually.
So you're saying that they're not going to try to pay for women?
Well, no, the Title IX is going to say, why is a girl cross-country runner not getting paid the same amount as an offensive lineman?
Because her.
But this has nothing to do with the NCAA. This is outside of.
This is outside of it. That the school's not paying them. This is a business paying.
All right, well, I'm just saying.
Listen, it's just like when we had this argument with women's soccer. Okay, you're not as marketable as the men. I don't know why. I mean, people don't watch it as much as they watch the men's soccer.
I can tell you why. I think you're being nice,
Your advertising dollar isn't as high.
No
as
one wants to
theirs,
watch it.
right? I'm just saying this.
Correct.
If Ronaldo compared to Rapinoe, it's not the same. She's not going to say. But this is outside industries. It's not the school. It's not the university that are paying them for their likeness. It's businesses like EA Sports, like Hy-Vee, like if they want them. Like Hy-Vee's paying Mahomes now for a commercial. What if there's
my homie?
Yeah. If it's a business saying, "Hey, I want you to come on and I want to promote you as a business," and they're making money off their likeness. I mean, if you want to come in and add a rule and saying, "Hey, this can't influence your decision on where you're going to go to school," okay.
You guys see Mitt Romney yesterday?
No, what happened?
He said he was talking about this, and he was basically like, "I'm worried that you're going to have some kids driving around in Ferraris, and other kids are going to be struggling to make ends meet." Which is exactly what's already happening.
It's exactly what's already
What kind of socialist garbage are you talking now, Mitt Romney? You're worried about, if you inherit the wealth, it's fine, but if you're gifted and somebody wants to pay you for it, it's not? That's what your
What kind of name is
argument is?
Mitt?
Dude, that guy.
Who wants a president named Mitt? Not me.
Apparently nobody did. Not even a Republican did.
I see it, but I just think the whole thing like it. They're
Matter of
just
fact, I
they're
don't even
doing
think
it
he's
already.
Republican. I think
It's
he's
not-
some other party.
Not the argument to
His
say
name's Mitt.
He's an idiot.
they're doing it already, type of thing.
You know what's happening. We know what's happened. I mean, we know about SMU. That was a long time ago. But they've just found other ways to do it without getting caught. USC did it and got caught. I mean, it happens.
It will always happen.
And it will always happen until it's above
It's-
board.
it's like,
and if we make it above board and everything has to be transparent.
It's like legalizing weed, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a
Oh,
giant
boy.
market for weed, regardless. The only way you can actually hold it accountable and really know what's going on is to put it in the light.
Bingo.
Bingo.
You should be able, you should be able to grow your own weed.
Well, why
Grow your own
not?
tomatoes, grow your own weed.
Why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely should be able to. I agree with you 100%, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
It's a plant put on here by God, or whoever you believe God is, or whatever your beliefs are. It's here. It's natural. Grow it. Listen, I'm just saying.
Oh boy. He's got a commercial to go to or something.
This is taking a weird turn.
I'm not saying I'm against it because I'm not. I'm just saying I just think there's going to have to be some regulation to it. You can't just say out of nowhere all of a sudden like here we go.
Well, of course, but I feel like the argument.
Well, the only reason I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The only reason the NCAA wants to learn how to regulate it because they want to learn how they're going to get paid.
So they regulate the weed.
They're going to say, well, we're going to get 5% of all money spent.
They regulate our
what?
tomatoes.
If
They
they get
regulate our weed.
5% of it and they take that money and give it to athletes who aren't full scholarship and give them a full scholarship, then great.
Yeah.
Great.
We don't need the NCAA anymore. Let's get rid of the NCAA. As a governing body? Governing what? Who cares what they're so outdated. Right? I mean, am I wrong here?
I'm with you.
I mean, they come down and they hand out look at these rulings are handed down on transfers, Jay. These are ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. That too. Second, Bob. Hold on. All right, before we go to break, Bob, again, take us through UFC. Tell us who you think's going to win and why. The BMF title.
I am going to go with Masvidal. Why? I think that he's going to be in Diaz's face and too much for him to handle. They're both in great shape, but I'm going to go with Jorge Masvidal. And
Okay.
I think Conor McGregor wants the winner of that one. I think he wants to sit back and wait, and that's why he hasn't signed that deal with Cowboy yet.
All right.
But yes, The Rock will be handing out the belt, and
says he's going to make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
The Rock will be there handing out the belt, and President Trump will be there. So this Saturday, tune in, watch the fights, and it'll be great.
Bob, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Always fun talking with you. Enjoy your stories.
It's great stories.
Yeah, fun.
He called it poop.
Have fun. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, buddy.
All right. If you want the latest in TV and security technology, but you're not sure where to start, you need to call our friends from Dunright TV and Security Solutions. They're your Dish Premier local retailer, and get started today. They're going to take the guesswork out of choosing the latest in smart home technology with your budget in mind. Dish has been a leader in technology for years, and that Hopper Smart HD DVR interacts with your smart speaker to change channels, pause, and fast forward with just the sound of your voice. When you sign up today, you're going to get a Nest doorbell system free, courtesy of our friends at Dunright. So just call 866-84-RIGHT and let them provide that local professional installation with personal service, trusted by thousands of businesses and homeowners in the Quad Cities. Restrictions apply and requires an internet-connected Hopper. That's Dunright TV and Security, 866-84-RIGHT.
This is Turk Wendell, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
If you're running a business, how much should you invest in retaining your employees? First Midwest Bank has ideas. In today's tight labor market, keeping your employees is more important than ever. A First Midwest banker can help you determine what type of 401k plan to offer. At First Midwest Bank, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com. In business, is it better to build your way to growth or buy your way? First Midwest Bank has ideas. It's a critical decision and different for every company. A First Midwest commercial banker can help you weigh your options. Because at First Midwest, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com. M&A momentum, strategic momentum, business momentum. First Midwest Bank.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
ESPN 1170 AM is the Quad Cities sports leader and your home of the local sports show. Don't hassle us, we're local. Listen for a chance to win everything from tickets to free food. Every time you win and pick up your prize at the ESPN 1170 AM Pepsi ticket window, we'll give you a free Pepsi for the road as well. It's like winning twice. Get more chances to win by downloading the ESPN 1170 AM app or by going to ESPN1170am.com.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
The experts at Helitech know that a sinking foundation is a serious problem. Uneven floors, separated baseboards, windows or doors that stick can all be signs of significant structural damage that needs to be addressed. Call the foundation repair experts at Helitech to get your free estimate today. If you don't address your foundation issues, they will lead to more serious issues, such as bowed walls, water damage, and even structural collapse. As your hometown foundation repair contractor for over 30 years, Helitech uses industry-leading solutions to repair your sinking foundation. Your home is the largest investment you will typically make. Who better to trust with your family's home than Helitech? They healed my home, they'll heal yours too. Helitech.
Heal your home with Helitech.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB, Davenport.
It's Happy Halloween here in the Hassel Castle, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish.
Oh, Halloween. Good one, T-Roy.
Yeah, hey, and we have the Quad Cities greatest entertainer in the house now.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Rosso, this guy, each week's doing it for us on Fox 18 and WHBF.
Hawkeye headquarters.
Man.
Making videos out at the Kroll Family Farm for the Iowa Wrestling Media Day.
Doing push-ups.
Yeah. We got more push-ups where that came from.
Doing sets of 3.
Yeah. But then a couple of wrestlers wanted to get in there and they wanted me to keep going. We bumped out 10 and I was like, I don't want to keep going.
We're
guys.
I gotta talk on a microphone without being winded.
My point.
I mean, 10 is fine, like whatever. But
that was great. The video
two
was
sets
awesome.
of 3, right?
Yeah.
Had to do a few takes, so it turns into a little more. But.
Yeah.
So how was that out there at the farm, the Kroll Family Farm?
It was a pretty cool setting. I mean, it was really logistically, it worked out better than I thought. You know, the sound and the visuals all, came through pretty well, and there weren't really any problems other than the weather. I mean, it wasn't nice. It was cold, but
those tights you're wearing was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It actually, and I mean, I don't know if
it's singlet.
And you guys know that
tights.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's played in cold weather. If you played football outside, like I was a guy that always wore long sleeve, was Under Armour or whatever. But you don't even notice it once you're focused. So like once I'm interviewing the players and stuff, I don't even know it's cold. You get cold, like 10 seconds after, you're like, all right, now I don't need to talk to anymore, and you like kind of lose the adrenaline, and then you're like, wow, my hands are really cold right now.
Wait,
so,
were you in the singlet while you were interviewing him?
Yeah, I wore at the beginning. I did some of my stand-ups and whatnot.
Mhm.
During the press conference with Tom Brands, I had layers on.
Good.
And then once we broke up into individual interviews, I said, all right, I'm back into it.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the Iowa Wrestling had their media day, and it was out at Kroll Family Farms in Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon.
Yep. So they had it there. Usually they have it on campus at the University of Iowa. And our boy Adam Rosso, he was sporting a singlet, and
Bettendorf Bulldog
did
singlet.
some
Where he
warm
got
ups,
that
did
from.
some runs. And then so when you did the interview with the wrestlers, you went back in the singlet.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and I went straight to Paul Glenn because I was like, all right, let's go. Where's Paulie?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm like, all right, we're good. And then we went to everybody. And actually, the most validation I got was after I was done, I went over by the bonfire and kind of warmed my hands up quick. And Gable walks over. He's like, you don't let any of these guys tell you you're not tough. He's like, you're out here being a tough guy. I was like, that is what I'm talking. That's all I needed to hear. I was like, that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear.
Validated. How did you not lead with that?
That's all I needed to hear. Well, I mean, I was just like, whatever. He came over and he's like, don't let anybody give you any crap. You're out here being a tough guy.
You're like,
I was like, thank
if I
you.
make a call, will you say that to my wife, please?
So I was like, all right, there we go. And Brian, Tom loved it. He was like, oh, he's like, has Glenn seen it? I was like, yeah, he has. He's like, all right, good. So it was fun. Like, obviously, you guys, like, Tom's a character.
Yeah.
He's a great interview. He's a great, very charismatic, and he's a wrestling guy. And all, wrestlers are a little off, a lot of them.
Well, look at Jay.
So they enjoyed it. I mean, wrestlers, they're goofy. So they liked it. It was fun, and it was like I said, the setting made it. Obviously, the day before Halloween, it was supposed to be today, so that's where this whole idea came from. When they said October 31st, I talked to Chris Brewer. I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up in a singlet." I go, "You think Brands will be all right with that?" He goes, "Brands would love it." I said, "All right." And then they moved it outside. Then they moved it to yesterday, and then the weather came, and it was like, "Shoot your shot, man. You got to do it. You can't hide up if it's
you did a great
little
job.
cold." So
it's awesome, and it brought light to a media day that normally isn't on the video screen. How's that?
Yeah,
it's written about. You'll find it on paper or your online publications, but rarely is it the camera crew on them. So good job on bringing the media day to the eyes.
And they got. I mean, they obviously you guys they got some expectations. They think they can knock off Penn State. They're confident. I'll say that. I mean, 7 All-Americans are going to be in the lineup. Obviously, you know what Spencer Lee brings to the table, but he even said it when we were interviewing him. He said, I can only win one national championship. So he's like, it's we need 10 other guys to step it up. And what he goes, I don't know what else to say to you guys because we kept pressing him on, what's it going to take? How do you get past this juggernaut? And he said, I can only win one. It's like we train hard, we work hard, but at nationals, it's on everybody else to step up their game, get on the podium, get to the top of the podium. So we'll see. I mean,
it was a great interview, and Brands at the end when he was just talking, and they're all Americans, and he's like 7th and 8th isn't going to cut it.
Yeah,
they're all Americans, and he's calling them out, saying like it's just not going to cut it. So they have a great schedule this year, and we'll write about it on ESPN 1170 AM as well because it's been a while since we had a good home schedule.
I mean, it's got to be one of the best in history, right? It's got
way up there.
Penn State, Ohio State, that's 1 and 3 with Iowa at 2. Then you have Minnesota and Nebraska. They're both in the top 5 or 6, I think.
And then you have Oklahoma State.
State, who's coming off a good year. They got a lot of pieces to replace, but they're always in the top 10. So
it still packs Carver.
It's gonna be some hot winter evenings over at Carver with Matt out there.
All right, so talk to us about the Hawkeyes in Northwestern, your old stomping grounds.
Yeah, I mean the rain held off until most of the second half. It was kind of like I said last, it was a rock fight. I mean, you felt like once Iowa was up 10-0, it was a 30-point lead. You know what I mean? Northwestern's offense, they were dropping passes, they couldn't move the ball. Iowa was putting pressure on them, and it's interesting how much we nitpick in wins because people ought to talk after the game. Why'd they punt it? Why didn't they try to go for it before the end of the half? And what more do you want? It's a 10-0 lead, and Kirk wasn't going to throw Northwestern under the bus, but I don't think they thought Northwestern could score more than once on them. So they probably already thought the game was over at 10-0.
Yeah.
Play more conservatively. You knew it was going to get rainy in the second half. Tough conditions. Northwestern can't throw the ball. It was a very Iowa workman-like win, and I think that's the way they've started to win this year compared to last year, and that's what they're going to need to do going forward.
So bye week this week, and you're going to take you're going on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah, yep.
You're going to take a little break. Good for you. Even through the first round of high school playoffs.
Out of town.
So talking about our defensive ends, right now, do you feel Golston is better than Epinesa?
No, not even close. I think he's the beneficiary of a line or a running back or a tight end that gives extra attention to AJ. So I think they're picking their poison. They're single covering Golston, and he the last 4 weeks has had more tackles for loss and sacks than anybody on the team. So he's the beneficiary.
I was trying to focus, like when I was watching it, I really tried to focus on Epinesa and seeing what was going on. And I mean, the few times I did watch it, I didn't notice a lot of double teams. I think some of it was singing it, but Golston seemed to be getting there.
I'm
just very impressed with Golston right now.
The Northwestern left tackle Slater, he's an NFL kid. He'll play in the league, so he's a very good.
Who was on Epinesa.
It was kind of like I think the Michigan kid, same type of thing. Now Epinesa had a better game at Michigan, but the Michigan tackle is another NFL prospect. So those type of matchups, you're right. You're probably going to see more single teams, but I do think Golston has, especially in the run game, and looking at some of the advanced metrics, I was not great with tackles for losses. They kind of try to keep everything in front of them in the run game, and just 1 or 2 yard, 3 yard gains are fine. They just don't want the big chunk plays. Right. And Golston's really one of the few guys that's gotten to the backfield consistently for tackles for losses, which is interesting because you would think, especially the interior guys, if they are shifting to Epinesa, that strong side defensive or tackle that's on AJ's side would get a little bit more free reign in the run game, but he hasn't as of yet. Golston has, and he's really come on. And I wrote about him before the season. He's a guy that, I don't think he's quite ready this year, but I think he's a potential NFL guy. Got the length, got the speed.
I love the build. I mean, he looks like an NFL guy right
exactly.
now.
So I think another good few games. I'd be surprised if it's this year, but another year with Doyle.
I want them both back.
Yeah. So I think this defense. They're going to have to win ugly. They don't have the weapons and the dynamic playmakers that they had last year, and that's how they won these games, and that's fine. Iowa's been very successful doing that certain years when they don't have offensive weapons. So this defense is obviously top 10 or 15. It'll end up being in the country for sure. I mean, it's good. So that's the formula. It's not very entertaining at times. I get it.
That's the problem, right? It's like you thought this might be a special year, especially came out of the gates hot, and then the Michigan game happened. It's been a slog since then.
Yeah.
But still, Iowa, you're going to crank out your 8 wins. You're going to go to the bowl game.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be the same thing at Wisconsin. They can't. Neither team wants to attract me to Madison. So if Iowa wins, it's probably going to be 13-10.
Sure. 21-17.
It's probably going to look a lot like the Michigan.
Yes, 17-13, 12-9. Who knows, right? Because neither team, they're not going to waver from the formula that's gotten them to 6-2. They're both 6-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know who they are. Both teams are comfortable leaning on their defense. So that's where you're right. It's not entertaining. Last year, we can all agree, was one of those years where you're like, wow, Iowa's got a ridiculous offense. This year isn't it. They still have a good defense. They still have a chance to win the West. It's just a different formula.
Now, Minnesota's still undefeated, correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, basically, whoever loses next week, Iowa or Wisconsin's out of it.
That's an elimination game, 100%.
Yes. Yeah.
That is the elimination game.
Minnesota's undefeated?
They're undefeated. They're on a bye this week, and Penn State's undefeated. They're on a bye. They'll be hosting Penn State this next week. Unfortunately, LSU, Alabama will be going on at the same time, so game day will be down in Baton Rouge.
The Golden Gophers.
Well, they haven't announced it yet.
Oh, they haven't announced it.
But most likely.
Yeah, most likely.
Undefeated.
The Golden Gophers, yeah.
I think they're ranked. I think they're ranked.
First time since 59.
15th, I think.
Yeah, I was
First time since
12,
59.
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Whenever they went to the Rose Bowl and back then, but
Yeah, they're in the
Yeah,
teens.
they're undefeated.
They're in the
They're rolling
they're
the
in the
boat.
upper teens. They're at least 15.
There are no,
Is it Dave Winfield, the quarterback?
Dave Winfield. Jeez.
Great call. That's a great call.
That's the he's got to be tangent here. Dave Winfield, top 3, 5 athlete in Big Ten history.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's got to be up. He's got to be in the. He's the best that Minnesota's ever had.
Yeah,
I would say
drafted in 3 sports. Remember, he didn't even play football and he was drafted.
You tell me one that's better than him.
At the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, there's been guys that played 2 sports, right?
Dave Winfield's.
But Winfield played 3.
No, he didn't play football. He just got drafted in football. That was the deal.
But didn't he play basketball
He played
too?
basketball and baseball. And then in football, somebody just picked. I think was the Vikings. Somebody just took him in football because he was that good of an athlete.
Why not? Just
Right?
in case he's just
Yeah,
like,
I would say he's probably number one.
You think he's one? Yeah. Okay. I'm
I
not
mean-
disagreeing. I can't think of anybody else that's done something like that.
I mean, certainly modern day-ish, right? Like,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
only
if
other
there's somebody
arguments would be
that I
like the old-timey guys like Archie Griffin or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Has there been anybody that's done the you know, like I'm
Even
thinking like
two-sport?
a Julius Peppers
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Carolina.
Iowa
Is
had
there
a two-sport.
anybody that's done
Iowa had a two-sport.
you know
He was just a manager of the Astros before A.J. Hinch took over.
Brad
Iowa had,
Osmus?
huh? Iowa had a no.
I mean, obviously, I think Magic Johnson's up there.
Sure.
I mean, of our all-time greatest. I mean, he's
Sure,
top
in the
three,
Big Ten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but he's top 3 all-time ever to play basketball. I mean, when in the rankings, or in the thought of it all.
Are there any other two-way like really good
Bo
baseball player
Porter,
that's played
Bo
football?
Porter played both ways for Iowa.
There you go.
I just
And I know
Guys,
that-
this is the most shocking news I've heard in weeks. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are undefeated.
Why
Why have I not heard this?
because you're
You
not
haven't
playing
been watching
EA,
college
EA
football?
EA Sports college football.
I feel like I've been watching more college football this year than I have in many years past, and I don't think anyone's ever once mentioned the Golden
They're
Gophers.
just
Well,
not
damn it, you know what?
on
I'm
the
getting Nick
television.
for
How's
Christmas. I'm getting Nick a subscription to the whatever the Minneapolis Times is.
That starts
There's,
to be
there's two, the Telegraph Herald too, the other one, right?
Pioneer Press.
Pioneer Press. They Telegraph Herald in Dubuque.
Yeah, that's wait a minute.
Yeah, is it because you don't play EA Sports college football yet?
Well, I
You'll hold
can't,
out? Yeah,
but
Now we will be.
Yeah.
He's thinking Barber and Maroney back when he could play college football
Right.
when they had those two
Yeah.
running
I'm
backs.
trying to think of guys who have ever played for the Golden Gophers football team.
That'd
Like,
be-
can I name 10? I don't think I can name 10.
That'd be the two, Barber
Barber
and
and
Maroney.
Maroney.
Yeah, that'll be it. Before you came on the air, we were talking about the NCAA decision. What do you think, Rosso?
I kind of set off air to T-Roy here. I don't know if it's going to be as you got very opposite ends of the spectrum here. Like it's going to end amateur sports. It's going to do this, or people want to just not. It's basically you love it or you hate it. I'm kind of in the middle. I feel like it's going to be fine. They're just going to have to figure out logistically how to regulate. And I mentioned to him off air, like maybe you don't have freshmen, you make them ineligible from collecting because then you can't dangle it as a recruiting ploy and say, hey, green Toyota or green Chevrolet, whatever we got here, is going to give you an extra 10 grand once you're on campus at St. Ambrose, whatever. So I think that's the main thing. They have to figure out how it is factored into recruiting. Because once you're there, I'm fully behind the whole earning power. Like if Pancheros wants Nate Stanley to sling some burritos and they pay him for it, more power to him. I don't have a problem with that. Once you're an established player there, it's when you're recruiting and your earning potential is dangled and you maybe have some wink, wink, handshake agreements with people that will take care of you once you're at the school or maybe take care of you in recruiting. Then it becomes a little bit dicey, but look, there's plenty of money in this college athletics. Like, let's not kid ourselves. The structure is what's going to be interesting to see how it goes about, and it's probably going to evolve. These things you don't hit on it right away. It's not going to be they're going to have to make tweaks as they go along. I think that's kind of the perspective everybody needs.
Well,
It's been a broken system for so long.
For
years.
But think about this. In college, period, whether it's athletics or academics, is the only industry in this country whose growth rate has well surpassed the growth of income. I mean, it costs more now to go to college than ever.
Yeah.
Because people in the college level, at the college, I should say, are making more and more money, whether it's professors to all the way up to the president.
Yep.
And coaches are making some $7 million now because of athletics.
And I think the interesting thing that, people, I don't know how many people are familiar, like, if I think we talked about this before, if I was a great cellist or violinist, and I wanted to go out and put performances on, people can pay me for that when I'm in
Correct.
college. It doesn't matter. That's what this is.
Same in high school.
That's what this is. That's the interesting part of these rules that, like, I don't think everybody understands. Like, it's solely the student athlete that can't benefit for his or her skill. if I was really good at, it's same. If I wanted to go put on a,
If you're like an engineering student, you could get
Yeah,
an
a
internship
week-
that pays you.
if I want to
in
do a
engineering.
week-long camp at Bettendorf for STEM students, and I was a potential, if I was a biology major and they were going to pay me to put on this,
Yep.
hands-on lab experiments, you
That's
could do
fine.
that. So
The only reason it's not okay with athletes is because it cuts into the NCAA's pocket.
if
It
Joe-
seems like it.
Dude,
It seems to be
and-
the big
and-
problem.
And I know you're saying like they make it so like freshmen can't be dangled in front of it. I say, forget all that. Let them dangle in front of it, and then
Let's go
you
dangling.
don't dangle it as long as it's straight. Yeah, that's it. Don't let your dangle in the dirt. Pick up your dingle,
but it's
tuck
like
it in your shirt.
Weeks camp. They had a basketball camp down in Muscatine. Joe was there for a whole week, I think, this offseason. I don't think he
Right.
gets any of that, right?
No.
Right.
So now, if Joe wants to put on a camp for free, he can. He still can if you want, but he can also say, "Hey, come." He can come and say, "Hey, Joe Weiss camp, basketball camp in Muscatine."
You're right, because 50 more kids went just because his name's on it.
Yeah, and he doesn't get any of that.
Yeah,
Right. But I guarantee that they wasn't a free camp.
And here's the other end of
No,
that.
they
Is
can't
it,
do that.
if he is able to make a little bit of money on the side there, does that make the rest of his life a little bit easier so he can practice, he can train basketball, he can get better at his sport and his career later? Maybe it does. Maybe it helps him that way, and he becomes a better pro, or he becomes a pro in general.
I mean, I think these.
What's the problem too by going to college to be an athlete? Is that not
Right.
just the same as a skill as using your brain?
Is that not a
I'm
career?
sorry, I have
Right,
a problem
right.
with the whole fact that you have to be a student and an athlete. Listen, I don't care if they take basket weaving. If that's what they want to do, if they think that they're gonna put all their chips into the fact that I want to be a professional athlete, then let them do it. Advise against it, but let people make their own choices and don't just sit here and say, "Oh, dummy athlete." No,
I think it's the fact that it's always been this way, right?
Well,
That
I
up
think it needs to
until the
change.
80s, it was you go to school first. No games are televised,
Right.
Whatever. And every game's on TV now. Everybody's covered nationally, regionally, locally, online, TV, print. Well, you name it. It is college football's number 2 to NFL.
Yeah.
You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
So the amount of and think about the time commitment. That's what I think. The time these guys put in.
It's a
I know they
full-time job
quote unquote
plus.
regulated. It's supposed to be a certain amount of hours a week. But if Nate Stanley wants to watch an extra 4 hours of film a day, that's what he does because you need to be successful in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
you can't show up and not. You just can't show up and play.
It's
Well,
strongly
and another-
recommended by the coaching staff.
And
We
another
can't tell
thing,
you what to do. But.
another thing, going back to you saying being a cellist, all right. So other than maybe if you're like the cellist and you're playing in front of the big banging drums, and maybe you go deaf and you didn't put your earplugs in, tell me what bad's going to happen to you being a cellist. You could potentially get CTE from playing college football. You
Carpal
could get your
tunnel.
knee blown out. You could, okay,
Carpal tunnel.
all right, maybe carpal tunnel. But I mean, violent injuries could happen to you by playing the sport.
I'm
And
not
you're
as
choosing
big on.
to do
You
it.
don't know
I'm not
the
as-
underground world of cellists.
Maybe
It's
I don't.
dangerous.
It
I'm
could
not
be
as
dangerous.
I'm not as big on that angle because everybody knows.
No, I understand.
Like
that.
I the CTE thing. Believe me, you guys. Like I don't even think you should play tackle football until junior high. Like Pee Wee football to me is ridiculous. Like let them do whatever. Let them just run around, play, try different positions, whatever. Flag football, but like even at Division III, say what you want about Division III. Everybody's there playing a sport because they love the sport and they're competitive and they want to do it. I don't care. Like I got concussed, tore my labrum twice in college. You kept coming back. You keep playing because you love it. And there's only a certain amount until you can't play anymore. And for most everybody, it's 22 years old, right? For 95% of the people in every sport. So that angle to me, like the future, you're not getting paid, yes, but it is an argument for like let these guys benefit off of their specific skill in the limited time they have because 95% of the college athletes aren't going to play in the pros. So
But the guys, the 5%ers, at least get a taste of it in college, get to learn when it's a little more innocent, and you get people there that are advising you that aren't there to take advantage of you and treat you like a business where the NFL is. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, things are happening every day in the NFL. You could be traded, you could be cut, whatever else. You come in and they give you a scholarship and whatever. They have money invested in you at that point.
And I think that the interesting thing that, the big names, the quarterbacks, the NFL players, yeah, like they're going to get it. But like, I kept thinking when this came out, like think about Brady Ross, like the Iowa fullback, Iowa kid. You're telling me, whether it's a construction company or a snow removal company, some just hardcore manual labor company that isn't like, let's get Brady Ross out there. Looks like he's 50, runs into people every week and saying, hey, this is where you need to go to get your, snow removal each week on the, call them up for your sidewalk, stuff like that. Or you need concrete poured. Here's the guy. Like, it might be $1,000 for the whole season.
Like
That's just an interesting. It's just an interesting thing that he can use because he does have some visibility.
Right.
Being an Iowa football player.
Comes out, this is my girlfriend. She's finer than a new set of snow tires. Speaking about snow tires.
I'm saying you can see stuff like that, though, right? I can envision that in different places. Like, these different guys will have their niche, and that's cool. Like, they're not going to be paying them millions of dollars. Like, like I said 2 weeks ago, and USC's quarterback in L.A. with that market, that earning power, sure, he's going to get a lot of money if he's good. The Mark Sanchez's, the Matt Leinerts of the world, they were already getting money anyway. So
Didn't one of those guys do like a nude photograph thing?
Like I don't know about
right after
that.
he graduated college? One of them did it.
That was you.
I think that was Joe Namath.
One of them. I thought it was Sanchez. Didn't he do like something? Maybe I'm wrong.
We got to take a quick break, though, and talk more with Adam Rosso when we come back from Hawkeye headquarters.
Make all your Sundays fun days at Pints. That's right, with the 250 20-ounce domestic draft, $3 you call it. Pint Supply is the party, you supply the fun. And remember, every Monday through Friday, 4 happy hour Pints offers complimentary Vans Pizza. Yep, at 5 o'clock, you get 4 large Vans Pizzas to wash down with some great beer at Pints, 5268 Utica Ridge Road in Davenport.
This is UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
At a time of personal loss, we each express our feeling in our own way. Wheelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory recognize that no one service is right for everyone. That's why we offer various options for the most appropriate service, the most fitting farewell, and personalized attention to detail. Wheelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
Since 1978, Advantage Advertising has been your one and only choice for promotional products and corporate apparel, all with your company's logo. At Advantage Advertising, you'll find products that are perfect for golf outings, company anniversaries, holiday parties, or health, wellness, and safety programs. We're accredited by the Better Business Bureau and a long-standing member of the Quad Cities Chamber. Visit AdvantageAdvertising.us to see all of the possibilities. Advantage Advertising, a proud supporter of Iowa State athletics.
The experts at Helitech know that a sinking foundation is a serious problem. Uneven floors, separated baseboards, windows or doors that stick can all be signs of significant structural damage that needs to be addressed. Call the foundation repair experts at Helitech to get your free estimate today. If you don't address your foundation issues, they will lead to more serious issues, such as bowed walls, water damage, and even structural collapse. As your hometown foundation repair contractor for over 30 years, Helitech uses industry-leading solutions to repair your sinking foundation. Your home is the largest investment you will typically make. Who better to trust with your family's home than Helitech? They healed my home. They'll heal yours too. Helitech.
Heal your home with Helitech.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand...
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't!
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike 3.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot!
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
Frick's Tap Davenport is the Quad Cities home for all of your sports action and good beer served properly. Kick back on Sundays and don't miss a moment of the games with the NFL Sunday Ticket. Come early on Saturdays and make Frick's your special tailgate spot for all Hawkeye games. Don't forget, Frick's great second floor bar is perfect for all of your special events, birthday parties, anniversaries, or just a great time. Call 563-594-6857 or check us out on Facebook for all booking inquiries. Frick's Tap, good beer, served properly. West 3rd Street, Davenport.
Whatever bridge you get stuck on, stick with us. The Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Oh, well. We're kicking tires off here, everybody, and it's very apparent Jay likes to rip people off on trades.
That is not true. I
crushed T-Roy last week in fantasy football. I'm crushing Jay this week. It's fine.
Anyway, we're K-bobbing it here in the Hassle Castle. Don't Hassle us a local. Still in studio with Adam Rosso.
That's right. Rosso, what I wanted to ask you guys, do you have any buy or sell for us this
I
week?
do have a couple.
Yes.
All right.
But I can't remember if I brought it up before or not. But I'm going to go there, and if I did, then somebody can tell me that we did that one already. But
you don't keep your notes from each week?
I have two different notebooks. That's the problem. I got notebooks on notebooks on notebooks. So anyway, I actually have another rant, another column coming out here. I don't know if it's going to be posted today or tomorrow. I'm done with it. But so this defense, right? Historic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing a column saying that a shootout's coming. Just like winter is coming in Game of Thrones, a shootout's coming.
Okay. Nick's a huge Game of Thrones guy.
Kirk has said this twice in the past, like 3 or 4 press conferences, that there's going to be a game. So my first buy or sell is, I was going to be at least in one shootout in the last 4 games, and I'm going to classify shootout as 60 points combined or more. A combined total of 60 or more.
It's reasonable.
All right. Give me the last, how many games?
Last 4. So it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska. And their last 4 point totals have all been under. Actually, they have not been above 52 all year. I just looked this up. The opener was 38-14. That's their highest combined points for the entire year, I believe. Somebody can double check me, but I think that's it.
He's saying that the defense is going to get tested.
Well, you've got last year's Illinois game on the brain, right?
Yep.
Because there was a lot of points being scored
And I'm going to throw this out there, and I don't know, you guys can say it's a BS stat, but the defense has played 5 teams whose offenses rank in the bottom 3rd nationally. Rutgers and Northwestern, the 2 shutouts, are like 117th and 122 out of 130. 2 of the worst offenses in the country. They played 5 that have been below 90th. The last 4, none of them are below 90th.
Ooh. On defense?
Offense.
The Illinois one is the one that sticks in your brain. Wisconsin, you already mentioned it.
Is Minnesota at home?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So I'll give you. There's been one game that's been 74 or above in each of the last 5 years. Every year there's been a game that's been a point total of 74 or more.
That's Illinois.
And then there's been 2 in 4 or 5 years that are over 69. So.
Well, Illinois is one of them, right?
Iowa, Nebraska was the 69, right?
2 years ago, Iowa, Nebraska. Last year was Purdue and Minnesota were both over 70. Minnesota's like 48-31. Purdue was 38-36. So it's happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ohio State 2 years ago was a butt whooping, and that got to be 79 points.
I'll say the big one's going to be Minnesota.
So you're buying it?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
It is.
Well, without revealing too much of the column, it's not going to be Wisconsin.
It's not going to be Wisconsin.
Iowa has 4 offensive touchdowns the last 4 times they've gone to Madison. So that's either way, it's not happening.
Seems reasonable, maybe.
It's going to be Illinois.
I'll say Minnesota.
So you're all saying yes. We're going to have a shootout. There's going to be a 35-28,
Minnesota's right.
38-31 type game. I agree. I'm buying this. That's why I wrote the column.
Illinois 60-0 last year in Illinois. I understand this might be a little bit different of a team, but I can't see Illinois coming up here.
But they just got to put on 10 points. It's a total is what you're looking at.
I get you. But a shootout, though, is...
Yeah, that means 35-28 or 42-35.
That's a shootout to me.
Yeah. You don't think
60-10 is a blowout.
Okay.
Yeah, but either way.
It's just a total. The total.
But generally, it takes 2 to tango. Rarely does somebody score 60-10. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's usually, like you're saying, 45-28 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm buying. It's just which one is it going to be?
Okay, well, check the column I rank the contenders. But I
Okay.
will say, an
I love
interesting thing, doing some research, some future pros pop up in these games that Iowa gives up a lot of points in. There was I think Tevin Coleman was like 15 carries for 220 yards and 3 touchdowns a few years back against when it was Iowa, Indiana. Stephon Diggs had a huge game when Maryland played Iowa in a shootout. So, like, I looked at that and I was like, well, what teams have future pros? Well, obviously Jonathan Taylor, but I hedged it with Minnesota, but I think Minnesota's got some skill guys that can play at the next level. So that's an interesting guess, T-Roy. You'll see in the column. I agree it's going to happen. I just don't know which one.
Well, Minnesota's tied for the best team in college football. Why aren't they ranked 1? Where's Minnesota's?
Because they were like 1 of 6 or 7. I mean, Baylor's undefeated, SMU's undefeated, Alabama's undefeated, LSU's undefeated.
And their schedule has not been good.
Clemson's undefeated.
Clemson's undefeated. Yeah, there's other ones besides just Minnesota.
The Gophers.
It's a good argument. I would like you to go on to ESPN after the college football playoff.
The Gophers.
The college football playoff rankings on Monday night and be like, hey guys, what about the Gophers?
What about the Gophers?
They're undefeated.
Hey, you know what? This is a good segue because the next buy or sell. I mean, it's.
Okay.
I don't know if it's argument, if we can argue it, but the top 4 in the college football playoff is going to be some mix of Ohio State, LSU, Bama, and Clemson. Does Penn State have any chance of sneaking up to 4 on Tuesday or Monday, whenever this comes out?
Not one bit. No.
I think LSU, Ohio State are firmly entrenched. Neither of them play this week, I don't think either. Clemson's got Wofford, the Terriers.
Yeah.
They're tough.
That's not going to
They're no
matter.
Minnesota, Nick.
They are. They're not the Gophers.
I don't think Penn State gets in.
Oh, Appalachian State's undefeated too. Sorry.
What if Clemson stumbles against some weak opponent and loses?
Well, eventually, yeah, but they're not going to lose to Wofford this week.
Then they still win the ACC.
I think Penn State's interesting that they have better wins than Clemson. Not everybody would agree with that, but Clemson's a defending national champion, so I don't think they would put them 5th, saying if Clemson is undefeated and Penn State and Ohio State can't both be undefeated, but you know what I mean? They're not going to keep a Clemson team out.
No, they can't. You can't.
Even with 6 teams are unbeaten. If Minnesota's still unbeaten, Clemson's getting in because they're the defending national champion. That would be bogus to say you've won every one of your games, but we're going to put you 5th.
If Minnesota runs the table and they win the Big Ten championship, they almost have to get in, right?
You'd have to, yeah.
Yeah.
And they would have wins at that point over Penn State, Wisconsin, and Ohio
Buy
State.
or sell, and I'm going to throw a curveball, and it's not a big one. Buy or sell. What I think we're all agreeing on that's going to be the top 4 in the college football playoff rankings, right? Buy or sell it remains that way throughout the entire season.
Sell.
That you don't think it will stay that way?
Sell. No.
LSU and Bama have to play it.
That doesn't matter. One loss, LSU, either one of them is going in.
But one could bounce out.
But so I'm just saying. All right, I'm sorry. Instead of run the table, going into the playoffs, the initial 4 are going to be the same as the final 4.
No.
And why not?
No way.
What do you mean no way?
I don't think either of those SEC teams will be unbeaten by the end of it. LSU or Alabama. So obviously one of them won't, but I don't
Ohio
think so.
State will be unbeaten.
I think Ohio State and Clemson are 2 most likely unbeaten candidates.
So let's say Alabama beats LSU, and then Alabama runs the table. LSU just has 1 loss. Or even if Alabama
one loss LSU gets in, right?
Yeah, 1 loss LSU gets in. Alabama
I think
goes through.
Alabama beats LSU. Auburn beats Alabama. It's in Auburn this year. They haven't played well there. They usually lose at Auburn more times than they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama loses. I don't know who gets in the West then. I guess it'd be Bama still because they beat LSU.
Yeah.
And then you're going to look at either Florida or Georgia. You're going to have a lot of SEC teams with potentially 1 loss in here. Obviously, Florida, Georgia play this week, so the winner of that game likely wins the East. With 1 loss. Well, then they would play either Alabama or LSU in that title game, and so they literally could knock each other out, is what I'm saying. And I just don't think. I think both of these. I think one of those SEC teams does not make it. That's what I'm calling. And I think you'll see
who replaces them then. 1 loss.
Still could be Oklahoma, Oregon, Utah. I don't know. I just don't think you're gonna get 2 SEC teams in if nobody's undefeated, and that's what I think is gonna happen. I think LSU and Alabama are going to have one loss regardless, and I don't think they get in. One of them. The one that doesn't win the SEC.
Is Oregon undefeated?
They've lost once. They lost to Auburn. Okay. Utah's lost to USC, but they're playing really well. So that could be the, winner of the Pac-12 could sneak in there. I mean, after that, I just feel like Oklahoma, would be the next one in. So we'll see. I just think they've, if you say Clemson, Ohio State are in, and then your SEC champion, why would we do this again with the SEC? If LSU didn't even make the championship game, then they lost to Bama. Like I think people are sick of that, right? I don't know how you could say that when they don't play a championship game. They would have played one less game again, just like Alabama a couple years ago. And yeah, Alabama won, but that doesn't mean the method makes sense. Because if Oklahoma wins out, they would actually have beaten somebody else in the Big 12 championship game, right?
Mm-hmm.
With one loss. That to me should mean more than an LSU or an Alabama team that didn't even make their conference championship
I
game.
agree with you, and we'll have that. We'll get to the argument. I just think it probably will end up being these four.
You think that's it? Well, not going to happen. Not going to happen.
I just look at it. The two losses. Alabama hasn't had two losses in the season since 2013. So, and I know you're talking about just the Auburn one will leave it. If they beat LSU and lose to Auburn, that leaves LSU
and
out.
Clemson could lose. I don't know. Like this, we've seen it. Ohio State at Iowa, Ohio State at Purdue. Clemson's lost to Pitt, Syracuse.
Yeah.
Like there's teams that you never know. You just never know. And I think obviously Wisconsin losing to Illinois is proof. Like you never know.
Oklahoma just shooting
Well,
themselves.
Georgia
Same
lost
thing with Oklahoma.
to
South Carolina.
yeah, bad team
At home.
Yes,
So it's I just would be shocked
the
if it's these
Wisconsin
four.
losing to Illinois though has got to be one of the worst losses. That team had a chance to really do something this year.
30-point favorites, right?
Boy.
And
Brutal.
before that, I was convinced that Wisconsin was the real deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, me
Well,
too.
the defense great. Like they look good.
And we're all convinced about Ohio State, but they still have to go host Penn State and go to Michigan and then win the Big Ten championship. Like those 3 games in a row. That's
Well, they're taking care of business every day it comes to them. I can tell you that. They don't look bad.
no, they don't look like they're missing a beat at all.
I don't think they're scared of anybody, and I think they got the right coach. I don't know.
What else, what's your other buy or sell?
I got the power rankings. We can bang through those
let's
quick.
do those quick.
By the way, our Nats, right? That's the team we wanted. Our Nats. That's who we wanted when the
That's not who Jay
Twins
was
went out.
rooting for.
Nats for the
Once
nuts.
the Twins went
He's
out, we said we
nuts
want the
about
Nats.
them.
Jay was
Nuts
an
for the
Astro
Nats.
backer.
Did you think that Hook and Greinke was early? That was the only thing. I was texting my buddies last night. I said 80 pitches. He had one hard hit ball all night, and then a walk, and you take him out. If you take him out, then bring in Osuna right then. Don't bring in Will Harris. I hate this over managing. He was dealing. He made one mistake that inning, and then had a walk. Like if the next guy gets on, sure, but it felt like a regular season game when I tweeted or text people. It felt like it was a regular season game where they didn't want the starting pitcher to take the loss. So I said, you know what? We'll take him out with a runner on. He can't lose the game today. That's not how you manage in the playoffs. I hated it, and it.
I agreed with it. I agreed with taking him out. I thought I agreed with what Smoltz was saying the whole time. Listen, this lineup is seeing him for the 3rd time around.
Yeah.
And
It seemed like the
it's
whole
time
plan
to take
was
him out.
the whole plan was we're
I
going to
thought
get
it was
5
smart.
or 6 out of Greinke.
Yeah, but to me, then you're like, all right, this Will Harris chap is a better pitcher than Zach Greinke at that point, and I don't. They just
have a
went
great
yard off
bullpen.
him the night before. They just homered off him the night before. They've seen him 3 times in the series, so they've seen him 3 times in the series. They've seen Greinke 5 times in the series at bat wise. I still think Zach Greinke's a better pitcher than Will Harris. So I just with 80 pitches, he shouldn't be fatigued. I don't know.
I don't think it was the fact that he was fatigued at all. I just think it was the fact of you're playing the odds of seeing him for the 3rd time around, straight on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you've seen this guy 3 times, but it's 3 different nights, and not maybe all the same batters, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it.
I just don't
get
like
it.
it.
You can second guess it all day. I just think it was in the cards that the Nats were going to win.
Yeah, I mean, Howie Kendrick still had to do the doink off the the single doink, not the double doink. Is
If you leave Greinke in and he gives up that home run to Kendrick, you're still killing the manager for leaving him in.
Exactly.
Right? He's getting killed either way.
Maybe I just don't like the way baseball's played like that. But why didn't they take Scherzer out then? He was laboring. They left him in, and he kept making the pitches.
Because the bullpen's legitimately thin.
Yeah,
they
but
they needed like 6 out of Scherzer.
This is why they're starters and relievers in my mind. That's what I always say with this. Like, your best pitchers are your starters. It was with the Twins, too, Jay. Your best pitchers are your starters, and you take them out, and it's a domino effect in the bullpen of guys you got to keep bringing in. Then you have to bring Osuna in the 7th. You don't have a closer. Then you never see Garrett Cole. Like, it's a weird, like, cascade effect, and I just...
Well, maybe you bring... I mean, I guess if you're going to second-guess anything, my thought was, all right, the top of the 7th, you bring in Cole.
Yeah, that's what I said, too. They said, well, you're not going to have to see Garrett Cole. You could have brought him in the 7th. It was still 3-2 at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that
you
was
could have
the
brought
move,
him
right?
in.
That
and
was
they
the
didn't.
move. They should have, for sure, obviously.
It's just weird. Like, it's that, put your best pitchers out there, but then we're not going to put our best pitcher out there. He could start the whole thing. Clean inning, you want him to start an inning? Well, he could have. He could have started the 8th, too,
Yeah.
right? It would have been 4-2, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, quick power rankings. Sorry to digress there, Jim.
No, you're fine. Perfect.
I mean, the top 2. Ohio State, I think they play Maryland and Rutgers the next couple weeks. What's the Rutgers line going to be, though? It's got to be in the 50s, right?
Oh it's got to be. I'll bet it's probably one of the highest ever.
It's got to be close to 50. It's
They
got to
might-
be
they
like
might
the
score 100
Alabama and
points.
whatever. Because Alabama, Arkansas last week was like 41, I want to say. Something like that.
What do you think they score? 75?
That's one of those they don't give up any points, so it's going to be I'd say at least 56-0. That's what I'd probably put it at.
Yeah.
That'd be a
I bet it's in the 70s. I'm just saying it now.
jeez.
70s?
I'm telling you. And it's not because they're going to run it up. It's going to be literally like defensive touchdowns that make this thing
Yeah,
in the 70s.
I could see that. I could see that. Pick 6, fumble recoveries. Chase Young gets a score. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Dude, Rutgers is so bad, Nick. And
I
this
know
Ohio
they're that
State's
bad.
so good.
70? What's the line right now?
We're guessing
We're
it should
guessing.
be in
I think it's got to be low 50s, right? It's got to be around 50. Because you don't think because I think Northwestern line was 30-ish. And then the over-under was like 40 because they didn't think Northwestern would score. So it's going to be the same thing. The line's probably going to be, let's say, 42.
76.
And the over-under is going to be 50 because they don't think Rutgers can score. Like,
And they're right.
Yeah.
I'm betting they score 73 points. Just throwing it out. There you go.
Be incredible. So they're 1.
Putting that down right now.
Penn State's 2, and we could be looking at unbeaten Penn State, unbeaten Ohio State the second last week of the season. That would be
That's fun.
that'd be
good.
The last few weeks in the Big Ten are going to be dynamite, I think. I have Minnesota 3rd, and I don't know how you can't watch these last 2 weeks where they're just putting up 50 points a game or whatever, and not think they're going to cause some problems for Iowa. That's immediately what I thought. They're skill guys. We talked about it, Troy. They're the best in the Big Ten outside of Penn State and Ohio State. They probably some problems. It's at Kinnick. That'll help, but it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. And if they lose the next 2, even if they lose to Iowa, whoever wins this week, you guys said earlier, next week, Iowa and Wisconsin's out. So if Minnesota loses the next 2, let's say Iowa loses to Wisconsin, but then beats Minnesota, it still sets up the championship game for the West the last week of the season against the Badgers. So Minnesota's kind of playing with house money in the West as long as they don't completely fall apart. 4, I have Wisconsin.
All right.
I mean, 4, 5, 6 are all interchangeable. I mean, Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa.
Well, but you have it in the right order.
You got to put them who won on the field to me.
Yeah.
So Wisconsin, Iowa is the elimination game. I really am telling you guys, I think it's the first one to 17 that'll win that game. I don't think anybody's most likely not getting in the 20s. It's going to be close.
Right.
Michigan's kind of weathered the storm, and they still randomly.
I mean, is Notre Dame false prophet? Whatever you.
Yeah, I don't think they're that good.
Right.
But I think.
I mean, this is what Georgia hung their hat on all year.
That's what I said. I don't think Georgia's that good either.
Yeah.
I think I said that last week. It was the easiest pick for me of the week when Michigan pick them at home. Like I think if anything, it should have been a 7-point
Notre Dame
stretch.
was good. I took Notre Dame on their thing, and I'm like, well, wrong.
I just did not see it. So
I feel like they're the same every year. When you come out, they look good. They're just not that good.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they're good. They're a top 20 program, but are they a top 5? No, they are.
It's a huge girlfriends. It's a huge gap to close, right? Like being because basically Iowa's a top 20 program. Are you ever?
They're very comparable with Michigan. Yeah.
Are you ever worried that Iowa's competing for a national championship?
No.
Right? It's tough. It's not easy.
I think Ferentz says it. There's maybe 6 teams that can win the national title every year. 6 to 8.
Yeah.
And never more than that.
And
in this format, at least.
And that seems kind of high, right? It's probably more like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, you're like, this team has a legit shot.
Until Cheez-It Sayers Honda starts paying in players.
That's right. We got a minute left.
Your bottom, bottom up will go. We got through 6. Michigan State, Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, Maryland. Bottom 3, Purdue, Northwestern, Rutgers. Northwestern was bad, you guys. They're better than Rutgers, but they're bad.
Largest spread ever in NCAA history is 70.5. It was 2012 Florida State versus Savannah State, 70.5.
Did they cover?
That's the thing I have to
We got
follow
time
up
for
on.
a quick. What do you think it's going to be? I'm going to say it's 56.5. No, 50. Let's go 55.
73.
55.5. Just the line. 55.5 is what I think it's going to be.
I'm going to say 57.5.
I'm going to take the under on both of those. Like it's like 49.
49 is
55.
52.5.
That's what it is.
That's what I'm going to guess.
Okay.
49. It's got to be close to 50.
What'd you say?
Right?
You said 55.
55.5. Yeah.
And Nick, you're saying 49.
Sure.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys so much, Ross. So you have a safe trip down to Texas.
Yeah, you
Nick,
bet.
thank you so much for coming in. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Adam, for coming in. And go head out to Rudy's for 2 for 1. Margaritas today. It's every Tuesday and Thursday. Go to Front Street Brewery, get that Desperado IPA, and thanks to the Bob Father as well. You guys have a hassle-free Thursday.